Hello, and hello. Welcome. Hey, hi. Oh, hi. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, well, I mean, I assume you can hear me. Pizza, what's up? Hey, Joao. How you doing? Just setting up here. Just getting everything ready to go. And then we will be off. Or on. Off and on. We'll be off and on. Hey, I eat my veggies. How's it going? How you doing? I always find this said hi thing is a little weird. Yeah, hey, I eat my veggies. I don't know what that means to shout you out, but I assume it means to promote your channel. So follow I Eat My Veggies, if you can, please. All right, just finishing things up. We're gonna set up. I have already eaten, so if you're not a regular viewer, I always start the show by eating. Unfortunately, which is very rude. It's very rude to you guys, you know, if anything. So, we're gonna try and avoid eating.
It's like when it comes to.
So today is, as per usual, gonna be a little something. I'm good. Thank you so much. I eat my veggies. Thank you for asking. No one ever asks how I am. You know, it's such a shame. All right. So yeah, just finishing up a couple of things, and then I think we can probably. Checking to make sure that the scene is correct. Okay, let me hang on. Oh yeah. I'll finish up getting things set up, and then we can start. You may see me getting things set up because I got to fiddle with the green screen just a little bit. Enjoy the music. Say hi to each other, please, and thank you. We're all here to enjoy a deep dive into Christian morality, so give it up for Jaboy! This guy's probably not going to be a very nice guy, but we'll see. All right, so hang out for a second. Again, say hi to each other. You're all here to be friends, you know? Say what's up. Give your neighbor a pat on the shoulder. I don't know how you're going to do that, but if you can, give each other a pat on the shoulder and say, God bless you. God bless you, good sir. Not so private playlist. Will there be Christian courage? I'm curious, considering that nearly every church in the United States has the Israeli flag on it. Not really sure what you mean. Sounds a little anti-Semitic, but we'll get there in due time. So give me one moment, please. All right. Ugh. Well, not so private playlist. I don't know if you're angling to get banned, but you're getting there. So I don't know if you're trying to be anti-Semitic, but you're doing a darn good job. So keep going if you want to get kicked and banned. I would relish the chance. Did you just say anti-Semitic? You were literally told not the circumcised, and most Americans are literally missing a piece of their body. You can't even follow your own religion, and you're worried about Jewish people. No, you're worried about Jewish people. You're more worried about offending people who aren't even in the room, who don't even believe what you believe in. I'm not sure what religion you think I'm a part of, not so private playlist, because you've been in here before, so you should know. Yeah. Again, let me just finish getting this set up and then we can actually start talking. Boom. And then I'd always ask for my password twice. That is so annoying. Like, what's the point of that? You already have my permission. Just so you know, I'm not a Christian. I'm an atheist. So go fuck yourself. All right. Phone, camera. Hey, Shelly Friedland, how's it going? You crazy. I eat my veggies. Thank you for saying hi to somebody else. Already, you're my favorite chatter so far today. Phone camera. Deactivate. Activate. What? Wi-Fi IP empty. 172.20.20.2. Well, no. Now I have to change that. Fuck. Okay, well. I got that right. Alright, cool. Come on now. What's your name? My name is Goose. And for some reason my camera isn't working. My face cam's working. I guess that could be good for now. So that doesn't really fix this. Camera. It was working great yesterday. Christians are... hang on, sorry. You said something else. All the same inconsistencies when it comes to genital mutilation. Why are you so obsessed with genitals? What's up with that? Then, of course, you should note the problem condemning Christians. You should have note problem condemning the Christians as the cowards they are anyway. I'm not sure what you think is happening right now. I would suggest that you just kind of like watch instead of trying to say opinions because they're so far pretty weird. I eat my veggies, probably, I don't know, it's just the beginning of my stream. I just started, so there are people are probably going to trickle in over the life of the life of the broadcast, if you will. So, yeah. Christians are engaged in self-depreciating behaviors and self-flagellation. They choose to remember their Lord and Savior being crucified rather than his life. First of all, you're spouting some really strange, weird conspiracy shit, but it has nothing to do with Christianity, and I am not Christian. I am an atheist. I do not believe in any God or heaven or hell or anything like that, so you don't need to talk about religion with me. That is not why we're here. Where the fudge? This is the phone cam, right? Yes, that is supposed to be the phone camera. Above everything. Oh, sorry, my face is supposed to be there. Sorry about that. Hello! I'm just trying to figure out what to do with this phone camera because it is sort of the only like high quality device that I have that can make this work. It has everything to do with Christianity, and if you're not Christian, then who cares? You don't have to be here. Am I holding a gun to your face, like an ICE agent, to make you watch this stream? No. I'm using voice to text, by the way, so that's why you're seeing inconsistencies in grammar. Oh, nice cover-up. That's a good cover-up. Dude. But let me guess, you support transgenderism, you support giving our funds to foreigners, you support Israel, right? Somehow support Palestine too, I'm sure. So you just came in here wanting to talk shit to somebody? I'm not really sure what you think live streams are for. They're not really for you to vent your frustrations at people. They're really just for people to share things that they're passionate about. That's pretty much it. You being weird is really your own problem. And if you want to continue to just be weird, then be weird. Because you're giving me engagement, so... Sorry you suck, but happy you're here. So continue to be here and continue to give me that engagement. I like it. I'm from Turkey. Where are you from? Oh, I am from the U.S. I live in the U.S., but I am originally from the U.S. as well. Isn't that cool? Fucking hello. Hello in Turkey. What time is it over there? Is it like evening time yet, I assume? Lol, like an ice age. And I knew you were a foreign submitter. Again, I don't know why you think that you're doing anything to insult me or offend me, but I'm just happy that you're here for the engagement. Well, then you can remove me from the chat and still sounding like a woman. Why do you think sounding like a woman is bad? Engagement, you say, with your 2 viewers. Yep, it actually does help me show up on the algorithm, so you are actually exposing me to viewers who would not otherwise be able to see me. So you are actually actively getting me in front of other faces. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. See, that's why I can't be mad at you, because you're helping me. You know? Isn't this just such a wonderful world? Hell yeah! I'm from Turkey and I live in the UK. Hey, I eat vegetables. This guy, you should tag him. You can actually tag him. You don't have to actually just say his name. We'll let you get with his girlfriend and he'll watch. Well, I'm married. And if that was a kink of mine, you really shouldn't have a problem with it. At least I'd be getting some. So, you know, I don't know what's on your menu for the evening, but mine would be getting some. And I'd be pretty happy about that. I think anyone would. I think being upset about being a born-again virgin because you haven't had sex in a decade is really just a personal problem for you. So, you know, maybe go to, you downvote me all you want, dude. I don't give a shit. You know, I urge you to go to therapy and to try and find help for your problems, which it seems like you may have many, especially because you're going into a stranger's live stream, being one of their only viewers, and trying to think that you're going to personally insult them without knowing the first thing about them. Very weird. Again, very strange. I'm not sure why you think that is productive or why you think that is in any way effective. You're not shutting me up. You're not going to send me running for the hills. You're just going to strengthen my resolve. And I'm going to continue to be here. And you're going to continue to be the sexless loser who goes into random live streams just to talk shit. But hey, continue to do so, as I said. You're helping people find me. So, again, I can't stay mad at you. You're helping me so much. Oh, man. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, today we're going to take a look at someone who purports to be a Christian, a pastor, a leader of their community. And we're going to find out that yes, you have been using ad hominems the entire time. Yes, but this is not a debate. This is you just being a loser, coming into someone else's live stream. Oh no, I would say this to you in person. I absolutely would. Because I have a carry permit, and I would be carrying, and you would not be able to do anything physical to me, because I would just cap your ass. And that would be self-defense, because you'd be trying to attack me, so... I mean, I can tell you how it would play out. Almost moment for moment. You know, sorry. Stop being rude. Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, stop being rude. Get to the Christian bashing. I don't care about your liberal anti-Trump views, boy. Okay, well, I'm just gonna sit here then. If you want me to continue and I want to do the opposite of that, then we're just gonna sit here. We're gonna sit here until you can ask nicely, like a good little man. I'll even stop the music. I'll even stop the music. I'll do it. Oh, yeah, and you don't think that that's a ad hominem? You don't think that saying that I'm a cuck is an ad hominem? You don't think that any of the stuff that you've been saying is an ad hominem? It's very strange. It's always projection for some reason. Try to explain that one, right? It's tough. It's tough to explain. Gosh darn. I wish this phone camera would work. Use the Wi-Fi IP. Activate. but it says the Wi-Fi IP is empty. Now there's the rub. How do we get this to work? How do we get this to work? It says it's up, right? Says it's working. That should work. I don't know. Guess not. I guess we won't be using the phone cam today. Well, gosh darn it. Alright. That is a shame. Using OBS. Yeah, I am. I assure you. Nope, doesn't appear. Alright, well, screw this. I want to get this started, so. Alright, let's get this so that the green screen is at least... Oh, see, this won't even work like this. It has to be, like, super close up. Crap! Oh, I don't need to. I appreciate it. That's fine. They'll go away eventually. Don't worry about it. Alright, I guess that works. Although, why is it... It's now showing the, It's now showing the thing. Chroma. Smoothness. I think my green screen's a little darker than, yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh yeah, no problem. I eat my veggies. I'll be here for another couple hours. So if you end up coming back, then feel free to dip in. Defaults. I gotta keep going back to defaults. Settings only apply to SDR video. Well, I don't know what that means, but we'll roll with it. That looks good. No, I know. I'm not showing my face right now. Sorry, I'm trying to get this to work. All right, I think that works fine. All right, let me just adjust it. Yeah, have a good one, man. Come back when you get a sec, or when you feel like it. All right, so that won't work. That tripod will not work. I think they probably just have, like, personal problems and they're trying to take them out on me. That's usually how it happens. All right. See, unfortunately, I have to be way over here, so I can't, like, start and stop the video the way I want. Maybe what I could do is I could just put it back, like, sort of in front of me. And then just tighten the frame. Sorry, you guys are catching me like in the middle of... I just got the green screen set up yesterday. So I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. Like, effectively, so that it's not, you know, bad looking. Oh, that's good. Okay. I think this goes. I think this works. And we'll even flip this so I don't look like I'm like way on the outside of the camera view. All right. Hello. Welcome guys. Welcome everybody to the Goose live stream. It sounds like I am really kind of trying to communicate a bit of like a 1990s sort of way of doing things, which it's kind of supposed to be like a little bit of shitty quality. So the pixeliness, the graininess, all kind of expected, but due to the fact of the shittiness, the other shittiness of the stream is just the fact that I just, you know, don't have the money to make the production quality higher. So it's kind of like I get to lean into it, you know? Get to lean into the crap. Sorry, I know that was probably not easy to hear because the microphone was not in my hands. I have to get used to holding this thing again. Hey, Professor Hoffman, how's it going? I hope that you are doing well today. I hope every one of you is doing well today. We're going to take a look at some examples of Christian morality, okay? And it may sound like it may sound... Oh, I'm sorry that you're not doing well. I agree that religion is gross. We're going to get there. I can point now. Look, see, I can point. I can point to things. Isn't that cool? All right. Let me just... There. Now I can very easily point at things. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at some Christian morality, all right? I happened along this channel here. I don't know if you are familiar with it, but the channel is Joshua Hames. Nice to meet you too, Professor Hoffman. So the guy's name is Joshua Hames. And I think Not So Private Playlist, you'd probably enjoy this guy, even though he is Christian. I think you would get a kick out of him. He's kind of, I don't necessarily, you know, I'm gonna wait to levy judgment until we can get to a point where you guys get a chance to make up your own mind. All right. Let me scooch in real nice and close to the camera here so that I don't have to sit at such a weird angle. There is no hate like Christian love. Agreed. And we are gonna get there. Unfortunately, that's gonna be the kind of sad part about all this. So his channel's called Reformation Red Pill, which already kind of smacks of a terminally online sort of attitude and feel, a vibe. You know, we'll just see. We'll see. Well, no, you see, Not So Private Playlist, this person actually agrees with all of the things that you've said to me since you've come into the stream today. So you're going to agree with a lot of that stuff. How does that comport with you? Is it shitty to agree with the things that a Christian says because you hate Christians so much? Or is it kind of empowering to know that you have, like, people from other disciplines, you know, batting for you? You know, does it feel good? I bet you it will. So, you know, I wanted to make sure that I picked the absolute best example of what this guy does. So let's just take a look real quick.
Information journal.
Oh, look at that. He's even got an intro. He's even got an intro and everything.
My main question is why are you... He told me
Right.
to proclaim the
Here we go, guys. Here we go.
When does human life begin?
Oh, yeah, you know, you got to be badass and smoke a cigar
Hello
on
and
screen.
Welcome to the Reformation.
You got to have that
Journal
Nick Fuentes
podcast.
mustache. It's very
It's been
important
gone a
to
while.
the
If you're
modern-day
listening
Nazi.
On the Apple or Spotify podcast app. It's been a while, and I missed you.
Also,
I'm
make sure
back,
that if you're going
and
to
I spent the last,
consume
like 3
Nazi
months
content, that you
crafting
subscribe
out
on
that
Spotify or
gorgeous, that
fucking
beautiful title
iTunes.
sequence. No, it wasn't me. It was actually a volunteer from my Discord. So thank you so much. I won't say his name in case.
Or Discord or some shit. I'm assuming it's Nick Fuentes, right? It means for all the things that they get right, they get them right for the wrong reasons, and in the end, they subject everyone to Christian psyop submitting to archetypes. What the fuck? Not So Private Playlist, do you want to try speaking in English that regular people can understand for a moment, just so we understand what your position is? Because so far, it's a bunch of word salad. It makes you sound very crazy. So if you could just make one point that is salient in any way, I'd be happy to entertain it. If you want. No pressure. No rush. Yes, he actually is very incensed when people cheer on Charlie Kirk's death. So, is there a limit, or there's a limit on how many characters I can write? Personality archetypes, do I have to spell it out? Yes. Why the fuck are you here if it's not to make a point? If it's not to make a cogent point? You're just screaming into the void otherwise. Or you could just get to the point yourself instead of talking to me. Well, you're in my chat. So, and my goal here is to expand my community and to grow my community. So even among the people that I don't agree with, I would still much rather just, you know, talk to people. That's why I'm here. I don't know if that's why you're here. You seem to just want to see yourself type and talk into your phone at a person who is really barely responding to you. You could call in if you want. You want to You want to try and say your weird conspiracy shit in voice? I'd be okay with that if you
I don't
want.
want to publicly be associated with a radical right-wing Christian nationalist. So,
Oh yeah, you wouldn't want to be
we're back
associated
in
with
the
any of that
channel,
these days. No, of
and
course
then,
not.
we got a lot more content coming your way.
I can point now.
Over this year, we'll walk through their Reformation journey, their theological Reformation. At the beginning, I covered all kind of doctrines and ministry philosophies that were kind of essential to my own.
I think we should probably turn that
journey,
down, right?
kind of
Why is
going
it
from
choppy?
Big Eva land into the
Right?
historic Reformed faith, and so really up until a few months ago.
So, you Christians out there, I really want to see, like, just your raw, honest opinion. Do you think that this is a good Christian? Any of you Christians out there, I just want to know if you think that this is a good example of a Christian, because so far he seems like kind of a douchebag, but I want to know just from, people who are of the faith. Your goal here is to explain it. My goal here is to live stream whatever the fuck I want. Your goal here is to watch it. I don't know why you need these roles explained to you, but those are our roles. My role here is to provide some light entertainment, some education, some information, my opinion, whatever the fuck I want. And your goal, your role here is to either watch it or engage in the chat or leave. And those are your options, and you can do any of those you wish. I don't know why you need the concept of a live stream explained to you. It's very, very strange. You sound, since you're using voice dictation, I can only assume that you're in your 60s. So I'd assume that you're also old enough to get concepts. So, I don't know. I do smell like poopy and farts. I don't suck. Unfortunately, I've never learned that one skill. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Not everybody can be a Trump and a Bubba, right? Definitely not fun. You don't get to dictate what I do. Yes, I do. I can dictate what you get to do. You get to comment, you get to chat. I'm just explaining how live streams work. I'm not telling you that you can do anything. This is just what the functions that exist here on YouTube are. Are you really that dumb? Definitely not fun at parties. You would be surprised. Actually, my energy is very much dependent on the liveliness of the people that I'm interacting with. If your energy is high, my energy is high. That's really, it's a very direct correlation. So if you guys get hype, I get hype. But until then, it's just normal conversation, It's not all about politics, bro. You should know today's about religion. Today's not about politics. It's about religion. Mondays are typically about politics. Tuesdays are typically about religion. So either of those discussions you enjoy, then I would say tune in those days. If you don't like those discussions, then don't tune in on those days. It's really simple. Very, very easy. Well, I'm commenting, so then what's your problem? I don't have a problem. I actually said that I hope that you stay because you're giving me engagement. Continue the stream instead of getting it up pissing match with me. I'm interacting with my chat. That's how live streamers operate. That's how they do live streams. Again, it feels weird that I'm explaining this to somebody who's probably 20 years older than me, but a live stream is when you put on a camera and you send a signal out into this wonderful thing called the internet. And the internet then takes it and puts it in front of other people. And they can then interact with the stream in various different ways that I've already described. So again, I'm not sure why you need this explained to you. It sounds like this is your first time using an iPhone or a phone, I guess, at all. But I would say read the manual. There are plenty of tips in there on how to navigate the ever increasing difficulty of the world of technology. And I'm here for you. If you need any assistance, then I can provide that for you. That's literally why I'm here, is to interact with an audience. Again, as I described earlier.
Began to get more and more convicted that we really need to be applying these theological principles. We need to be applying the...
For me to focus on getting money instead of BS that doesn't affect me whatsoever is actually less childish. Get a life, buddy. I'm not really sure why you don't think that politics has implications on the economy, but you can bury your head in the sand all you want. But politics affect you. They affect all of us. Anyone who's living in this country, they affect us. I don't know why you think that doesn't mean anything, but you know, that's okay. That's okay. Lol, infantizing and using bird hands? You're gonna have to elaborate on that one. And I'm probably younger than you. I highly doubt it with the way that you sound. You're frying his brain with all this internet talk. Some people just don't know how to use it, and they need to explain to them. That's okay. That's fine. That's why, we are here again. It feels weird that for the fourth time I'm having to explain this, but the goal of a live stream is both to educate and entertain. So if you pick anything up, then more power to you. It's exactly like from home math. Why are you using bird hands and stuff? Okay. Admit it, you love me. That's why you're sitting here talking to me. Begin with Professor Hoffman. Are you okay? Are you on drugs right now? All you really told me is that you hate religion, that I have the inclination that you hate women. Yeah, definitely. And he doesn't believe transgender people deserve to exist. He hates Israel. So, I mean, either he's anti-Semitic or just a weirdo. So be it. The most you can do is vote. No, you can actually raise awareness, and you can be active within your community and try to build a coalition of people who all agree with the things that you're trying to fight for and want to fight for you or fight for them with you. And then you can bring it to like city councils. You can affect change that way. You can actually go out and you can do fundraising activities. You can do community events and help spread the word. Typically at like bake sales, things like that, people will ask about the organization if they're not familiar with it. And so you get the chance to talk about what you're doing. Stop worrying about the geopolitical state of the world and go have fun and do something with your life. I do. This actually is my only free time of the week. And I spend it usually either playing video games on stream or talking about religion and politics on stream. This actually is what I'm doing with my life that is fun. So everyone has different, hobbies and stuff like that. Yours may be going to the rodeo. Actually, I do enjoy rodeo, but mine, when I don't want to necessarily go out and do something, like I usually go hiking, I go fishing a lot. Almost too much. I would say I probably go fishing too much. But I go fishing a lot. I am a professional cook. I usually do private dinners most evenings, and the rest of the week is spent preparing. So I got kind of a tight schedule, and I actually really enjoy being a communicator when it comes to things like politics and therapy stuff, I guess, psychological stuff, but also just in general politics stuff, religious stuff, things that people tend to not like discussing. I just like discussing them. I don't know. I'm weird. Okay, let me tell you a weird fucking story about rodeo. See, then I think you and I would be friends because I also don't believe that you can go fishing too much. Which do you actually go to lakes or do you go ocean fishing? Because holy shit, dude, I have not gone ocean fishing in like 20 fucking years, and I want to fucking destroy the local population of yellowtail because that would be awesome. Let's see. Anti-Semitic after Epstein Files came out literally called all Jews non-humans. Don't know why the fuck you're talking about the Epstein Files. This has nothing to do with your anti-Semitism. But you want to take the anti-Semitic narrative from 80 years ago, which is literally right-wing propaganda. You are the one that talked about Israeli flags in Christian buildings. Rodeo, do you like his collection of toys in the background? You can't see my background, but I do have a bunch of memorabilia. It's actually mostly horror movie stuff. There is some action movie stuff thrown in there, but it's mostly horror movies from like the 80s and 90s. It's actually my wife's collection. It's not mine. I wish it was, because I can't curate shit. So, yeah, I don't know. Dude, yellowtail. It's not necessarily an amazing fight or anything, but that's a big fucking fish, and B, they taste super amazing. So, and you can sell the meat for a lot of money.
Word of God to all of life, to politics, to culture, to the culture world. To the culture.
Oh, you can? Where?
Culture war, man. Christians
my
can and
left?
should be seeking to apply their theology
Where?
and their faith in politics in the public square. That's kind of become
You
a core
see,
conviction.
you see my
of
poor
mine.
man
And
tissues.
so after 2 years of doing
You
a
see
theology podcast, I decided
the
that
wizard?
RRP, Reformation
Is it the
Red Pill,
wizard?
needed to be more.
Is that who you're
And
talking
it's
about?
mostly because I
This is
firmly believe
the
that this
American
theology, this ecclesiology,
American
this
way,
political
Amway.
theology that we
It's an
talk about
Amway
on this
wizard. Do you guys like
podcast
Amway?
will
You guys wanna
and
buy some
eventually
Amway?
must save our country.
Woo!
We're currently on the brink. Liberalism is destroying everything. There's liberalism in the
Can't-
church. there's liberalism
memorabilia, you
that's
say? That's
destroying our
hilarious. It's
society.
toys, buddy.
Outside of
You
the
bought
church,
it
but
at
really
Toys R Us or on
liberalism
Amazon or
is
GameStop.
the big
Well,
baddie
no, I
that
didn't.
we're
It's
after.
my
So
wife's
we want
stuff,
to destroy
but,
liberalism in the church
you know,
and outside of the church.
I'm cool with it either,
So then
too.
the
You know,
question becomes, how do
I actually
we
like
get
this stuff.
this
So, I
theology,
wish I could
how do
call
we
it
get
my,
this
my
ecclesiology
shit.
to the people, to the masses. How
Under the
can
microphone.
Reformation
I'm
Red
under the
Pill
microphone.
actually get the normies. That's kind of what I was thinking. So I'm trying to red pill people on.
Oh, the
not-
microphone
not
from the
on,
video. I
Andrew
was like, what
Tate
the fuck are you
ministry
talking
stuff,
about?
On patriarchy, biblical patriarchy, post.
Are you talking about
baptism, covenant
this guy's
theology,
toys?
covenant confessions, and worship and Christian nationalism. That's
Oh, it
that's
might be on the
a key
actual
part of this
on the
whole
face
mission.
cam on the thing.
And
Oh yeah, it is.
I
Okay,
came
I
up
didn't
with
change
on
that.
how I
Okay.
can actually get all of this
Sorry,
theology,
I didn't
ecclesiology,
change this.
this
I mean to.
political
I meant
theology
to.
to the people, is to win the culture war, to engage in the culture war, to actually fight.
Oh,
to take
see?
this theology that
See,
I've
not
learned
so
over
private
the last
playlist?
5-6 years, and get.
He agrees with you. He agrees with
involved
everything you're
in the culture
saying.
war. And ideally, the
You gotta get
mission is
involved.
to inspire a new generation of young men and help them train them up to run.
He
headlong
really
into
seems
the culture
interested
war
in
with
young
the
men.
Bible in their hands, thus saith the Lord on their lips, and a head full.
Oh,
of
see
good
now
theology.
that probably
That's
isn't
key.
something that
That's
you would
key.
be
So
on
here at
board with.
Reformation Red Pill, we have, we're going to continue to do theological deep dives. That's not going anywhere. That's something that's something I love, and I believe it is kind of essential to the whole project.
Sending love and light to you all. Stay in the frequency of love always, sharing love and kindness to all. That it sounds like you're in a cult, M. Wells, but I will take the love and kindness. I'll extrapolate the good things from that.
Of Christian nationalism, but we will also be leaning heavily into the cultural commentary, as you've kind of already seen.
I kind of wonder why.
And
Why
so,
are we going to lean so
yeah,
heavily into the
that is
cultural
to say,
commentary? This guy, just so you guys know, is claiming to be a pastor. All right?
we're actually going to
He's being a
apply
pastor.
this theology to
He agrees with nothing I'm saying. No, he is against transgenders. He's against Israel. He's against, I assume, whatever it is else that you were bullshit that you're saying. Your body is the temple he is within. Nothing out here can get you closer. Must go within yourself. Love has won is not happening anymore. Mama God is dead. And most religions can be looked at as cults. It just depends on how many people follow it that make it legitimate. Let's say that you obtain, tax-exempt status. I think that probably is what sends most cults into legitimacy, but it really is all the same. Charismatic leader, ousting, talking shit about people who used to be in the cult. It's all there. So most religions are very cult-like. It is not a cult, just something everyone needs. Well, yeah, everyone does need peace and love and kindness, but I would argue honestly that it doesn't take a god in order to do that. Adam McGuire, keep him out of my temple. Which temple are you Jew? Do you guys want to have it out? I follow no religion, just purely spiritual. I follow no religion as well, so you're among friends here. Does anybody here bleach their temple? That is the real question, I would say. Jesus is a derivative of the cult of Mithras. Well, now that's debated. I think he is potentially just kind of a guy who understood what Peter was doing. Is basically, I don't know, kind of like a scam artist, I guess you could say. So like people nowadays, people like M. Wells who are talking about, I just want to preach love and kindness, and starts out that way, like very acceptable and very normal. It can kind of like, it's just like Love Is One. I don't know if you guys have heard about that cult, but Love Is One started with a woman who I guess might have had an aneurysm and started thinking about herself as the second coming of Jesus. But she didn't think about anything. She didn't communicate any of that stuff to her followers. All she did was just preach love. She just preached love and peace and unity, and that's it. But when they started getting, like when they all moved in together, they started, like, she would put rules against them, like that were basically talking about how, you know, they had to worship her as God and that she was the second coming and all this kind of stuff. But they were so pliable by that point that they were willing to accept it. It didn't sound weird to them. And then when she died from alcohol poisoning, actually she died from an excess of colloidal silver, which turns you blue. I don't know if you knew that. But when she died in her bedroom from, an OD, how the fuck does that even happen, of colloidal silver and rampant alcoholism? But all they did was they left her in her bed and wrapped her with Christmas tree lights and prayed to her corpse every day. So cults can start out looking pretty normal. Cults can even look like a legitimate religious organization most of the time. And someone said that, Professor Hoffman, by definition, the only difference between a religion and cult is the size of the following. That is actually fucking true. So, yeah. Spiritualism like this just seems like religion without all the commitment. Well, it is, so it's an avoidance technique. You want the benefits of Christianity without having to submit to a god. It's usually people with, like, superiority complexes, things like that. It just kind of happens. I don't think that it's an overt intention for people to flim-flam one another. Sure, there are definitely people like that, but I think it all comes born of a trauma, born of a inquiry, born of a need for fulfillment or something like that. It's often the reasons why people go towards religion in the first place. So, just to poll you Christians, we haven't had normally we get tons of Christians in here who are like want to talk shit to me because I'm like trying to talk shit about Christians. Maybe I could change the title to something more inflammatory. But I just want to know from Christians, like,
that's key.
Hear this man who is a pastor.
Really,
hey, Pan-Slavic Arabism, how's it going?
America Christian again.
My favorite is the whole faith over works narrative they built. Literally, I don't have to do anything. No, not so private playlist. This is the first thing that you've said that I fully 100% agree with. It is always an act. It is always a desire to fill a gap with something that you can't explain. And it can be a defense technique. It can be something that, you know, keeps them into the religion. It can be something that is driving them towards a staunch fundamental stance. But at the end of the day, it really is just hiding inside your comfort zone. That's all it is. You know, it's not, I don't think that it, I don't think that people are trying to dismiss evidence to the contrary of whatever it is that people are claiming, whether God exists or whether he's good or all that kind of stuff. I don't think that it's necessarily a counter argument. I think that it is an explanation of something that they themselves don't understand. And that's why, like, I've had a couple of I guess you could say debates with people who are who claim to be Christian, and it just falls apart at some point. There's never a point where it goes, oh, okay, yeah, maybe that might mean that someone was making this up, or maybe it might mean that Christianity is flawed or something like that. Like, I just honestly think that it is a failing in the ability to understand. It's not a perception thing. It's not a faith thing. It's just that they don't understand what's happening to them. They don't understand the feelings that they're going through, and they don't understand what the process of processing trauma is like, what the process of processing. You're welcome for the pedantry. USA has invaded over 50 countries since World War II, and everybody against war nowadays, while almost nobody publicly questions us. Would you say media makes people triple standards? I think what you're trying to say is that the US has done some truly, truly horrific things since World War II, and people seem to have just kind of forgotten and carried on. That's really not the case. There's 370 million people in America, man. It would be extremely close-minded to assume that people aren't paying attention to something like that. I think that at least half the country is focused on trying to prevent the rampant colonialism that we've been guilty of over the last few hundred years. Not just after World War II. It was well before that too. I mean, we took our country from the natives. and we tried to, we kicked the king out of our country. So I don't know. It feels like, I don't know. It feels like, it's simultaneously important to understand the past that we came from, because it is every day in danger of being erased by people who want to rewrite history, but also important to try and push things forward into a better direction. And I don't think our leaders really have that in mind, because as I've always said, and now none of you are regulars to my channel, but if you become regulars, you're going to hear me say a lot that the rising tide lifts all ships on both sides of any ideology. So it's very hard to not see this guy, to not see, the direction that things are headed, and to try to speak out against it if you are capable of doing so. The concept of the Trinity is a creation of the Nicene Creed. Now, yeah, keep spitting, man. Keep spitting, David Thompson. You're giving me that little bit of crack in the facade of where Christianity tends to fall apart, and it is in the scrutiny. So keep giving us where things came from. Talk about Saturnalia. Talk about Samhain. Talk about Saint Nicholas and Saint Peter, and how Saint Peter's death ushered in the con man era. Yes, speak more of this. Speak more of this, David. Goose, what's your favorite argument against Christianity? What's your go-to? Twist. I tend not to try to debunk religion as a whole, because just like anything else, it can be a tool. There are Christians out there who say, obviously they're not very good Christians in the sense of adhering to the Bible, but they say things like, yes, the Bible, instructs a lot of terrible things. The Bible depicts a lot of terrible things. And we really could have just omitted those things in the revisions, or God could have maybe said not to do those things, but he didn't. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to extrapolate the meaning from the Bible that helps us understand God and to move society forward. Yes, it's still religion, which is not something that I necessarily support or would engage in myself. But if somebody can use it as a tool to become a better person, I'm all for it. The problem is that the majority of the stuff that the Bible instructs, the majority of the people who are Christians who adhere to the Bible, don't tend to do the good things, don't tend to support the best parts of the Bible, which are limited. You have to extrapolate, and you're going to have to omit. But I don't know. Josephus. Americans knows about Iraq, where I'm from, Vietnam, Afghanistan, etc., but do most Americans know about Cambodia, Guatemala, the funding of terror groups? Yes! Yes, Slavic Arabism. I am here to let you know that a lot of Americans know about all the genocides that are happening, and we are fighting every day. That's why we're in the streets. It's not just about the killing of our own citizens. It's about the massive, aggressive, violent deportation of innocent people. It's about the demonization of other cultures, specifically by our own fucking administration. Like, yes, we've been well aware of a lot of, I think the majority of Americans have been aware of the atrocities America's committed, even as early on as Desert Storm. It is so painful to have to see the suffering in the rest of the world, knowing that we can do something about it, knowing that we've done nothing but make it worse, and wanting to change that. So yes, Slavic Arabism, I assure you, people are aware, and they are trying to raise awareness. Greek Orthodoxy is not true Christianity either. Ooh, man, not so private playlist. How dare you make me like you just a little bit? They would argue, and that is what I like about that statement. Soperative, who's Soperative? Did I miss something? A Christian is someone who follows teachings of the Jesus and Bible. True. Faith in God is the only answer, not proof. Well, yeah, sadly, yeah, you have to have faith, and it's that gap, the God in the gaps. It's the the not understanding that we don't have to put into a form like God. We can just kind of like leave it as an unexplained. But people don't choose to do that. They choose to put God in there. Since human civilization began, we have been looking for the answers to the unknown, and God is one of the most frequent and standout answers to things like that. Jesus Christ and his followers are the true religion, not the scams played out by greed. Well, unfortunately for Christianity, it has no way to prove that Jesus actually performed miracles or that any of the prophecies that he made ever came true. It really, if anything, it paints a very interesting picture about how Jesus and his apostles kind of operated. Very authoritative, very sort of militant, very much, I come not to abolish the old laws, but to fulfill the new, to fulfill the old and new as well, style stuff. If all you ever do is go to church and you talk about Jesus with your pastor, your pastor may try to puff Jesus up and make him seem like a real good guy who's done a lot of good things, but there's no basis for that. It's really just whatever's in the book. And I need to know a little bit more about my prophets or my sons of God, Snow Yellow 24567. There's no historical evidence for Jesus. Now, it's argued that there is. I wouldn't say that if we were to determine that Jesus existed, that he would be the person depicted in the Bible. But I would say that the number of accounts and the number of just the transcripts that exist that aren't Christian documents that depict a person with the likeness of the likeness of Jesus, it's not that hard to imagine that he exists or existed. But it's just, I don't know. It's every likelihood that he was a scam artist in controversion to whatever the Bible says that he is. I believe the atrocities of man just points towards the truthfulness of God's word. I don't know. If there is no God, then man is the highest authority. No, that there is no authority. There doesn't need to be an authority. Then man is responsible for all the evil in the world, right? Yes. And deferring responsibility or accountability to a God, a silent partner that doesn't take a cut, who's accountable, it makes it real easy to just kind of shirk off those responsibilities, doesn't it? Haha, no offense, bro, but most Americans don't know how many continents exist. Most Americans don't know about all governments and countries the U.S. has invaded, overthrown. Not many at all, very few. You are trying to speak for the majority of 370 million people. You cannot even begin to assume what all or most of Americans are or are not, especially if you don't live here. The politically correct Jesus is no one I want to know. What? What is political correctness to you, David? I don't think you quite understand what that means. Non-Christian historians recording Jesus as a man, Josephus, Tacitus, Suetonius, Pliny the Younger, and Thallus. Well, there's every understanding that Jesus might have been a real person, but there's no evidence to suggest that he was the Son of God. I subscribe to the Alan Watts interpretation that Jesus wasn't saying he was a son of God, but a son of God. It's a metaphor. I can get the verses. Yeah, hey, no, I agree with you. Those are the interpretations that I made when reading the Bible. So I agree with you there. See, we are not so different, you and I. You just decided to come in here and start insulting me for no reason, and we agree on like 3 things now. So I don't know. I don't know why you'd want to be that hostile towards someone who you eventually end up agreeing with, but slay on, Queen. Yes, Jonathan, not necessarily necessary. The evil, because that's a word associated with religion, but yeah, Jew. Are you saying that there are Jews, or are you just simply saying the word Jew? There was a very funny moment in a TV show that I enjoy called Broad City, where the characters are Jewish, and they're going on a pilgrimage to the homeland, and they're on the plane, and they're not traditional Jews. They're like they do not subscribe to any of that stuff, but they wanted a free plane ride, and stereotypes. I won't mention it, but there you go. They start chanting. They start going, Jews, 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 Jews. I don't know why it's so funny, but that is honestly one of the funniest moments in television. Yeah, maybe we can be friends. It just depends. I'm psychotic. That's how I break the psyop. Yes, I can tell. Thank you. I can tell that. Very much so. Josephus is an interpolation from 95 AD and only copies from the 10th century. Tell me more about Josephus. I'm interested. I'll probably look it up when we're off stream.
So with that said, this year we are planning.
Man, you're telling me the majority, over 175 million Americans, know that the U.S. is overthrown in 50 countries and funds terror groups like UCK, Al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda, and Ukrainian terror groups. Yes, I'm saying that most of America knows, and 1/3 of America is actively participating. The other third of America is woefully, I would say that about a third would be unaware, sure. And then the other third is basically screaming into the void about it. There are probably maybe 2 or 3 coalitions of American origin that are actively trying to fight the genocide happening in other countries, and they are woefully underfunded. But there are people aware of it. Again, Slavic Arabism, it makes me feel like you just don't know the scale of what you're saying when you say that all of America this or no of America that. Like it means you don't understand scale. The world is massive. Millions of people is a lot of fucking people. Tens of millions of people is a lot of fucking people. Hundreds of millions of people, that's a lot of fucking people. That's a lot of fucking people. I mean, that's a ton of people. You can't even, I don't even think you could see that many with your eyeball vision. All right? So I would say, trust me, when I say that whatever's happening in other countries is very much in the news, in the headlines, on most of the online articles I see. Like, it's extremely strange to assume that we don't know what's going on. It's just, that's what makes it even more evil, Slavic Arabism, is that America knows what's going on and is still fucking perpetrating it. That is what should make you hate us, is not our ignorance, but our complicence. There are 66 books in the Bible that testify the truthfulness with no evidence. It's the Bible. You cannot use the Bible as proof of the Bible. Many more books have been written that confirm that. Many more books? Do you know how stupid that sounds, David? Many more books? Many people are saying that Christianity is very real. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Come on, man.
Planning on doing 2 live
I want to get through this.
broadcasts a week, 2 podcasts
And
a week. On
there are
Tuesdays,
reasons I want to
Thursdays
get through this.
at 2 p.m.
All right,
That's
Christians,
what we're aiming
David,
at. We may expand to
I hope
that,
you're
but
paying
we're gonna
attention to
nail
this.
that first. We may expand to do more, but we're going to stick with
David, Islam is a religion just like Christianity.
that first. But we're also going to be having a lot of different videos on the YouTube channel. So guys, go subscribe over there. Those will kind of be YouTube exclusive. We'll be doing kind of man on the street content. We'll be doing campus.
Oh, man on the street content. So he wants to be the next Charlie Kirk, I guess.
In-person evangelism here in Nashville. Got a lot of good stuff for you guys over there. A lot of big things this year. So now with that announcement out of the way, now I have the opportunity. I'm so excited. I've got some heavy hitters joining me on this episode. Today we're talking about ethno-nationalism, Christianity, and the future of America. With
White America is what he means to be saying. Why couldn't God be disappointed in the atrocities of man, just as some people are? Man is the creature that can live below our intended purposes. Beavers never make bridges, only dams. Jonathan, did you know that God also instructed slavery and killed the world twice that we know of? And one future genocide to be named? What makes you think God is in any way not complicit in all those atrocities too? Silkworms made not polyester, only silk. What is that evidence of, Jonathan? It's literally like the Buddhist, Taoist, Zen, break-free philosophies, not saying worship me literally. Warhammer 40k, the God Emperor, ironically being worshipped as a god after he told them no. I don't think you understand what I mean. I'm not talking about Americans knowing the U.S. being part of wars and so on. I'm saying that most don't know all those things because of censorship. Slavic Arabism, man, I don't know what point you're trying to get across. You want us to be more focused on that shit? Okay. You're talking to the wrong guy, though. I have no impact on anything. Sorry. Christianity and other religions are just layers of belief. Yeah. I mean, it's a very structured system that specifically plays on past traumas and how susceptible people are to suggestion. Many people have silver tongues, but not the truth. Like Jesus? Perhaps anything that you say about another religion can easily be said about Christianity. It's epistemology. It's all just the same system, just different beliefs. Creatures can't live below their intended design, man can. I don't know, again, what the fuck point you're trying to make, Jonathan. Atheists don't believe in God. Atheists don't believe in heaven or creation or any of that shit. So what point are you trying to make?
Pastor Rich Lusk and a new guest, Kongman Lee. So let me introduce my guests here. First of all, let me get them up on the screen. Okay. Here we are, going live. We're doing it live.
So my guess is that this guy brought this guy on. He's like a YouTuber, I guess. I don't know what his origin story is. Shit what? Shit what? Shit as a question? Only God's mind truly exists, and the entire universe, including humanity, is just an internal projection or dream within that divine consciousness. So we're all just on a turtle's back. Because I never found an American knowing about the funding and creating terror groups like Al-Nusra and other ISIS branches that, dude. Slavic Arabism, man. Believe me, I'm not offended. You really would have to go very, very far to offend me. Like, you just gotta be like, you know, read the fucking room, man. Ask Christ to reveal himself to you one day, if you truly mean it or don't. Christ doesn't exist in my world. I'm an atheist, so I don't believe in God or anything divine. Oh God, they're pouring in, silly goose. You thought I was bad here about having Christian beliefs. I want Christian believers in here. Aren't trolls the best? They are proof that people are always paying attention to. Is another one of those gurus who just make shit up because it sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, I think as we get older, we get more, I guess, impenetrable. We learn more about the world, and we learn more about the scams that people run in the world, and you kind of see stuff that you've seen before. Just like with religion, just like with salesmen, you know, someone who's trying to get their way into your door to sell you something you don't need. When you're older, you understand that that stuff is just a scam, and that they're just trying to be in your door, in your house, selling you their shit. I was atheist too. I wish you the best. It's not logical. You can't say it's not logical. Atheism is just a lack of belief in something. There's no alternative belief that I'm trying to claim. I have no conception of anything other than a lack of belief. But how do you know it was Jesus? How do you know it wasn't something else? Right. Exactly. How do you know it's not schizophrenia? How do you know that it's not trauma speaking to you? How do you know it's not, you know, you trying to process something? How do you know it's not your subconscious bursting its way into your conscious? How do you know it's not your ego or your id? Money is not my God. David, that's a good statement, but I don't think anyone here is arguing that it is. That sounds like gibberish, Lindsay. I'm sorry, but that's not saying anything. You're Being Christian isn't rational or logical, but I had and continue to have personal experience. And your personal experience doesn't mean God. Someone could come up to you, phase in like a bunch of stardust, and like shake your hand and be like, Lindsay, hello, I'm God, and I am the Christian God, and there are no other gods before me. And he could still be lying. I don't have to prove myself to exist, because trust me, bro. My assertion is that if we even go with their belief system, how do we know that they're bowing down to Jesus and not something that looks like Jesus? So this is why I'm showing you this. This is why I'm showing you this, because to a lot of Christians in this country, this is what a good Christian looks like.
And
so I hope that you guys will listen to this shit and try to hear what they're saying, because they are supposed to be what America considers good Christians.
Why don't you tell the people, who are you? What do you...
One day, ask him to show himself to you if you want. Lindsay, you're barking up the wrong tree. I don't believe in God. Again, I wish you a good life. Well, I wish that you would stop. My assertion is the reason why bring this up, I can see how the world reacts to Russ Federation, who invaded 3 countries, and the world went mental while West did 10 times worse, and the reaction is not even close. So what you're saying is that you're a tanky, which is going to get you banned from my chat about the quickest out of most other things, unless you start celebrating extrajudicial killings. People are aware of all of the atrocities, and there's plenty of people who are complicit, but there's plenty of people who aren't, and there's plenty of people who really want to fight against that kind of shit. And tyranny's not cool. You know, invading, you know, other countries isn't cool. But the difference between us and Putin is that Putin is saying that it's his divine right to be doing this. And, you know, America is at least split up over it. I don't think Russia is. I think Russia's pretty fucking rigid when it comes to that shit. After Judgment Day, what do we transition to? Then what? Why does that matter? Why do you give a shit? You spend most of your life not worried about, you know, or you spend most of your life not thinking about what the afterlife looks like. It's weird that you would go to a place on Sundays and then try to figure that out, but I don't hold that against anybody. And I don't ask why. I don't say, oh, why do you guys go into that church there every day and talk about where my soul's going to end up? Because I don't care. Hey, E, how's it going? Welcome back. If you drink symbolic blood, think the world will end soon and live forever, you're in a cult. I agree. It's a moral compass stance for most, not about money or a fake spirit in the sky, but I'll absolutely get behind the Templars' code of conduct. I don't know what the code of conduct is for the Templars, but I guess I'd be happy to have you share it if you want. I agree. Invading other rights is unjust. Correct. Do you love your father? Prove it. I don't know what that means, Crowfire. You're going to have to explain that one to me. The Bible is full of references to Greco-Roman and Egyptian mythology combined with Jewish mythology and just a ton of paganism. There's more complicated, nuanced theories that actually attempt to bridge the secular with the religious. Nikola Tesla, energy and waves and frequencies, time dilation, and body shutdown procedures. But it seems to me that there's no certainty with any of it, and so going around claiming that you know is pretty foolish for the Christians. Agreed. Agreed. Something about fighting assassins and satellites in 2012. Is that what you're guessing is on the screen? I wish that this were 2012. Look up Floyd Sweet. Floyd Sweet on YouTube or on this. Engineer known for developing the vacuum triode amplifier, or Sparky, which claimed to generate over 1 kilowatt. Is that good? How much is a kilowatt? Oh, yeah. Free agency is the most important of all, and I certainly always become infuriated at the argument that you could be an awful person. All you have to do is accept Jesus in the end, and somehow that mitigates all the bad things you did. That's Christianity, man. Catholicism's even worse. All you got to do is just confess. That's it. I was raised in church. Yeah, pretty toxic stuff. I agree. I was raised in the church as well. Never once believed in God, though. Fine, what about aliens? Do you believe in aliens? It's crazy to assume that we're the only people in the universe. Putin invaded because he thinks it's right. It's his right. I thought it was because of the 15,000 Russian civilians killed by Ukrainian army and what Ukraine and the West broke the Minsk agreement both times. Nope, it's because he believed that there was land that belonged to him, and that was why he did that. Think Bushido, but Christian. What the fuck? That's Templars. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Michelle Davis, Guitar Princess. Thank you for giving a like. I hope to hear your guitar music someday.
Do and how can people find you and your work?
You're right. Guilt
Rich
should
Lusk,
never. No,
pastor
nothing.
of Trinity Presbyterian Church.
Nothing other than cult should ever define Christianity.
The CREC congregation in Birmingham,
That's just my own spicy opinion, but you're welcome to have yours.
Alabama. You can find me on X at Vicar1973. And we've got a website, which...
Oh, yeah, you're on X.
That's
Vicar...
Trinity
1973 was that?
.com, I believe it is. You can find all kinds
Is that
of
when he was
there.
born?
You go to the pastor's page. I've got a blog
1973?
with all kinds of material there. So, yeah, great to be with you.
Rasputin actually is a really good example of the pride of man.
Introduction.
And pride always
excited.
cometh before the
it's
fall.
always a pleasure to have Pastor Rich Lusk on the program. And right next to me on my right here,
Your left.
we have his enemies call him
Well,
the
A left.
yellow
You- D
face
left.
of white nationalism. But his friends,
Oh, Nikolai. Oh, Nikolai. You said it. You said the thing. What? Do you not understand the point you just made? Because you made a really good point just now. But it seems to David that that's all it is. You tell people about hell, and then you get them all worked up and scared, and then you offer the solution conveniently of Jesus. Well, that's how Christianity recruits people. Man, yeah, Not So Private Playlist. I don't know if you've ever known anybody who's been a born again, but they are just the most zealous and adherent and they toe the line. And there is a bit of psychology behind that, if you're willing to hear it, and I'm sure you probably already know. But it's because people are yes, these guys are indeed white nationalists. But no, Lindsay, you're giving away the secret. You're giving it away. We're supposed to be determining whether these guys are true Christians or not. Come on, guys. Come on. You can't just give away the secret. You can't do the spoiler right away.
friends call
Yes,
him.
that's why we're watching them, is because they're white nationalists who are, this man is a pastor, this man is a pastor, this man is someone who is just an inflammatory YouTuber. I think he's trolling? I don't know. I'm trying to have a good moral compass in life without having to turn to religious morals. How do I go about it? I understand religion is just trying to find fake hope to get through the day, but so morals, you'd be happy to realize, don't necessarily need any kind of religious text. We observe morals, or I guess we observe ethics in nature on a damn near daily basis. If you've ever watched anything by Jane Goodall, she is able to show how apes live in such a way that shows that they have a bit of a rudimentary society. And when one ape offends the rest of the apes, they are then shunned. They basically, they kick them out of the troop, and they are no longer allowed to hold any of the babies. They are no longer allowed to take part in any of the group. One could say orgies, but one would be then talking about a nature documentary, but that is typically what happens at group functions with a lot of chimpanzees. But it also exists in other apes as well, bonobos and gorillas and things like that. But then we also think about, we talk about like dogs and dog packs and how they have a hierarchy, while it may not be what we thought it was before, like alpha, beta, all that kind of stuff. Instead, what it is it's a group of not beliefs. I guess it's a group of practices that they engage in that allows for their pack to continue living. And typically I don't know if we adopted that or if we gained understanding of morals along the way, but it existed far before any kind of religion ever took form. So, Nikolai, you're in a good position to just kind of live your life. And if you don't necessarily have religion in your life, then you don't need it. If you're able to live a decent life and you're not hurting anyone, you're not committing any atrocities, then I think you're probably good. Do you think transgenderism... Wait, no, I'm saying you can extract morals from religious documents as long as it's consistent, applicable. You have to extract it, so to speak, but you can't just literally take you can't take it literally. That's the risk or danger. Yeah. I mean, for morals, you can take morals from religion. You don't have to, but you can. Trump, baby, Trump 2028. I mean, if you want this train to just keep rolling down the hill, then... I mean, more power to you. If you're getting what you want, then congratulations. But we still are in the infancy of Trump's second term, so why don't we just wait to see what he does with the rest of it before you start advertising for him to subvert the Constitution? Just saying. W rage bait. Yeah, I don't think it was rage bait, and it certainly wasn't W. There are so many reasons. You seem like a smart guy. Make an opinion based on both narratives on this topic. On this topic? The Nazis?
What do his friends call him? The Chinese.
They don't have orgies to their perception, but certainly to a human's perception. I think any of us would take a look at the group mating rituals of a chimpanzee troop and be like, wow, that's an orgy. there's really no other way to associate it. All right, if you're not a regular to my stream, then just to inform you, I am an avid cannabis user. It is actually medicinal for me, but it is also recreational. So I'm going to take a moment off cam to hit the bong real quick. If you also have a bong loaded up, then feel free to hit it as well. Cheers and smoke them if you got them. I will be back in just 1 second. Oh yeah, I'm on camera on the other thing. Sorry, you can't see it though. I did still keep it out of the view of the camera. As long as it doesn't show me actually hitting the bong on camera, then then it's all good. And just so you know, that was a decent bowl. It wasn't huge. It's medicinal, so it's like I just gotta re-up when the dose wears off. It's not like I'm not trying to get turnt, you know. Although hey, there's no reason not to, right? If it happens, it happens. It is bong o'clock, yes. Cannabis is a human right and better medicine than most pharmaceuticals, in my opinion. I have tried. It's my antidepressant, and I have tried. Oh my gosh, I like. Oh man, I think I've had to try like 6 or 7 medications. Wellbutrin did the best, but it didn't have the anti-anxiety component, for which I take Adderall now for the ADHD, and it really helps with my anxiety. It sucks, man. Just having like any kind of what is it? Oh man, neurodivergence. Like it's you know, it can be okay most of the time, but then like if something frustrates you, it's just like the end of the world basically. What can Putin do if Obama administration overthrowed his neighbor's country and then kills his peepee for 8 years and warns that he would invade if the West did not expanding their borders? He could just have not waged war. He could have chosen that, because at no point was there diplomacy. It was just invasion. Hey guys, there are Nazis in Ukraine. We gotta invade so we can go get them. Not cool, man. I had to stop smoking. Dang, asthma and edibles are too long acting for me. I don't really like edibles that much. I kind of like the ritual that's involved in smoking, because it makes you it makes you have to like think about it. Like you have to put it forward in your mind, and you've got to commit to it. And so like, I don't know. I think that's like, I don't know. I think it makes it more thoughtful, and it makes it more meaningful. The West, they broke as Jesus, Yahweh in the Old Testament. I don't know, E. Is he? The West, they broke the 1991 agreements 15 times not to expand until he invaded. He could still not wage war. Same, it's the juggle between taking my meds and then smoking to offset so I can sleep. Yeah, you gotta stop smoking like 2 hours before you go to bed. That's, or at least just depending on your metabolism. But like for me, I have to stop smoking at least 2 hours before I go to bed, or else I get the weed hangover. And if you get that consistently, then yeah, it's then you're leading to too much toxicity, weed toxicity. I don't mind talking to y'all, though we view some things differently. Well, that's what the community's for. It is for welcoming people, even people who don't agree, to hang out and either agree or not agree on things. That's what it's for. I don't mind the contrasting opinions. Why doesn't Putin and Zelensky 1v1? Because I don't think that would solve anything. There was no diplomacy. Minsk agreements were both attacked. Well, Putin still invaded Ukraine. He could have chosen not to. SSRIs were and still aren't tested for long-term use, only like a year, not saying all meds. Yeah, you know, that's what the doctor told me, but then another doctor told me that I could take them like for the rest of my life, and I was like, that just doesn't seem consistent. Anxiety comes from worrying about the future or the past, just live in the present. That's a good spiritual thing to say, but that's not how brain chemistry works. Weed toxicity, yeah, right, I'm the Napoleon. You don't think there's such a thing as weed toxicity? You've never had a weed hangover before? It's a thing. I promise. I absolutely hate when Christians say all mental health is a demon, like it's impossible to have an issue with your brain or nervous system. Man, like you're talking about Baptists, like hardcore, like the snake handlers and the Pentecostals and the, yeah, crazy. He's right. You can get cannabis-induced gastroparesis. And his demands was to stop bombing Russian civilians, remove an anti-Russian law they made. He still didn't have to invade the country. Everything that you say is going to come back to me saying he still didn't have to invade the country. You should join a boxing gym and spar. I have been wanting to spar for a long time. I used to be in Kempo and Taekwondo, and I got pretty far. I got up to like brown belt. That's pretty good, right? No, I feel like I'm admitting I didn't get very far. I don't feel like brown belt's very far. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I was in Kempo and Taekwondo for a while, and then I started cooking. I started having to like pay rent. Like, I don't know if you guys know this. Well, no, because none of you are regulars. Well, Cynical's a regular, but I don't know if you know this about me. I had to start working when I was 15. My mom was like a pretty heavy alcoholic. She wasn't like a heavy alcoholic. Like, she was functioning. She worked for a church, by the way. She drank mostly Coors Light, so I wouldn't say that it's a that she was an alcoholic, because Coors is like 3% alcohol and tastes like water. She might as well have been drinking water. So I don't know. I don't think. I think it counts as alcoholism if you become dependent on it, even if it's not, you know, powerful. But so yeah, so she started not functioning, and I had to start paying rent and start paying the bills, and a lot of that involved. Sorry, I didn't mean to cough directly into the mic. A lot of that involved having to take the garbage bags full of cans and crush them, and then like go to the recycling center and just take whatever I could. Hey, Helmet, how's it going? Yeah, no problem. Ha ha ha, typical American. Man, why you gotta descend into that shit? You first started out generalizing everyone, and then here you are back. Avoiding the facts and the roots of the problem. Well, the root of the problem is physical aggression. So you know how you stop physical aggression? By stopping the physical aggression when it does not fit your program narrative. Again, you don't know what my program narrative is, man. You're just assuming. Stop assuming and actually listen to me. Who's in the background? These are some people that we are trying to determine. I don't know, Tyler, if you are religious at all, but we're trying to determine if they are good Christians. That's all I want to know. I just want to know if they are good Christians, whether you are Christian, whether you're atheist, whether you agree with Christianity or you're a different religion or whatever. If you don't like any of these people because they're Christian, I just want to know if they're good Christians. If you think Christianity sucks and you think that them sucking makes them good Christians, that's what I want to know too. So it's across all disciplines. Do these guys seem like good Christians to you?
The Korean Jackie Chan of X, the one and only Kong Minley.
Great music choice, by the way. Great song
I just
choice.
asked AI. I just looked and said,
It
AI,
took
give me an intro for
10
this guy.
seconds.
That's what it was.
Incredible.
Before they got
by the
racist.
way, has a lot of Christian themes. We won't be discussing that here today on stream. But yes, my name is Kongmin Lee. I am a Korean immigrant to the States. I was raised here, but born in Korea. I am, as you can probably.
Half of you can. Oh my God, you guys. Invading a country is wrong. When we do it, it's wrong. When Russia does it, it's wrong. When the Ukraine does it, it's wrong. Anyone invading another country is wrong. That's all wrong. You can be aware of two different things, and you can have a stance that is not necessarily your stance, and it's still an okay stance, and is not malinformed or malicious in any way. It really just takes you guys being mature enough to understand that people can exist that way. That's all it is. You can have whatever stance you want. I'm not telling you that you are a bad person. I'm saying that you're generalizing me. And I don't think there's really any reason for that. Because I may not have an opinion that you think I do. But that's okay. Well, see, Tyler, that's what we're getting into right now.
Tell
That's what we're getting into.
Korean.
What makes a
And
good Christian?
I yap on the internet. I mostly talk about culture and politics, but I dabble in theology because I love the Lord, I love the bride of Christ, and I love, fellowshipping and duking it out with brothers. And
He hating on Putin when all he did was trying diplomacy while U.S. pushed for war. And killing your political opponents is something that's totally okay. And then invading a country, like, you think that's totally all right? Nah. No war is good. No invasions are good. None of that is good. Slavery, not good. Genocide, not good. None of that's good. Don't support any of it. So, yeah. I don't know why you think that. I don't know. I'm just. I don't know. I guess call me mind blown because I don't really understand why imperialism's good for anyone. I don't know. Just it seems like a weird stance to take. You know? Like a very strange stance. Yeah? It doesn't work like that, silly. Read how foreign relations work. I bet you I know a hell of a lot more about how foreign relations work than you do. That's Joshua Hames in the background. Yes, it is.
sometimes sisters, but they shouldn't be in politics. But that's a whole different
The NATO
conversation.
expansionism
Yes, we love
was
duking out with
problematic, though.
brothers
Everyone already
in
knew it.
Christ
Crimea
about
was already proved
theology
you
and
can't
politics and
push
history.
back effectively.
But yes, you can find me at Kongmin J Lee on X, Instagram, everywhere else, and then you can find my YouTube channel.
I don't know, Professor Hoffman. I
Awesome.
don't know.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so
No, it's actually not deflecting. A person's entire worth is usually what is evaluated when talking about whether or not they are a good person or whether or not they're doing what you think they're doing. I weigh the actions that he has taken with his past and his recorded history, and I then use that to determine whether or not the acts he's committing are warranted or not. That's how a person is supposed to reason through these things. That's how you think. That's called the thought process. And it all ends by saying, I don't think any invasions are good. We talking the reason for war, not justifying it. Well, you're sucking Putin's dick right now. So I'm not sure why you don't think that you're justifying it. You're actually superseding it by sucking Putin's dick. So if you're going to suck Putin's dick, I would think that you'd be okay with him invading a different country. Weird how many countries outright rejected Russia's sphere of influence. I wonder why. It is strange. Isn't it? Isn't it strange how many people push back against Putin politically? Isn't that strange? Isn't that weird?
I'm really excited to have both of you. This is gonna be an
Weird.
interesting discussion.
It's almost like
a lot of
progressivism is
people-
overall most
Pat-
the
Pat
more
Rich, I just
popular way to go.
Always appreciate
Huh.
your contributions on X. I feel like you took a little hiatus there for a while, but then when you come back, you always just come in like Miley Cyrus. Like,
Ukraine chose to join NATO. So the fuck what? I don't give a shit. Doesn't mean that they get to be invaded. None of the invasions are good. No invasions of another country is good.
Standoff.
That's all bad. That's all bad.
So it's like,
That's all bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gandalf
Every bit of it.
Right. Exactly right.
Killing in the name
We're
of
talking about
bad.
Ethno-nationalism. You and I have had a lot of discussions.
These
as
guys
I'm
would be
sorting
into it.
Through a lot of this political theology,
time.
and just political philosophy in general. I come to you with a lot of my questions, so I really appreciated
No, I'm not American. Sorry, we don't suck anything where I'm from. Oh my god, you honestly think that people don't suck dick in other countries? That is flat out insane. That is the most insane thing that you could have ever said. Thinking that people don't suck dick in other countries. Or that was just your attempt at a jab? But it was a bad one. I don't know if you know how stupid that sounded. But yeah, Putin is a good man. And then in the same fucking sentence, I didn't even read the second part of that sentence. You have to be trolling. Please, you can't. Slavic Arab is you're trolling. There's no way you're not trolling. That it has been so good so far, but you gave up the game. Oh man. Yeah, you did it. You broke my brain. That was good job. Fucking kudos, dude. Oh my god. Woo! Most Christians would vote for Satan himself if he banned abortion. That is true. Or if he voted Republican.
You did.
You could even just go as
lengthy post,
as close as that one. Close in as that.
Last week or the week before here. In fact, I'll just pull it up on the screen here. That'd be easier. Let's see here. And you titled this post, overview on the immigration issue.
Caps Lock makes me think they're a boomer.
Politics and Christian.
I don't
and the Christian
know.
nationalist
Maybe.
Way forward. Man, I'm talking like Joe Biden.
Just a few small topics.
Exactly
Yeah,
what
just a few
most
small
anti-gay
topics.
men normally
exactly
are.
You know what? I don't know how
Is
useful
gay?
this is actually going to be to have on the screen for people. I'm just going to read it for you guys. So I
don't know what the point was there.
Probably anyway. So we're not going to go through the whole post here because we mostly.
If Mexico
agree,
made a
I
military
believe,
alliance with China,
I brought both of you.
what? If Mexico made a military alliance with China, USA would invade to protect national security. Oh my god. Who are you? Please. Oh man. Oh my lord. Oh. Oh, I haven't laughed so hard in a good long while. Holy shit. Woo! Oh man. Yeah, people who try that hard to compensate. I am so not gay that it's actually we don't suck anything in my country. We don't suck anything because I'm so not gay. I'm so straight that my whole country doesn't suck anything. We are not like America. Actually, now I think of it, wait, hang on. Now, you gotta make sentences. Actually, now I think of it, was the whole Cuban Missile Crisis about? Ah, man, there's a whole bunch of conspiracies that explain why the Cuban Missile Crisis happened, why the Cold War happened, and all that kind of shit. I'd really rather talk about these Nazis, though, although, to keep things light, I really would enjoy talking about conspiracies, but I really wanted to get through this because this guy has another video that we really need to watch.
You guys on here because I know there's going to be some disagreement, but I don't know how much disagreement.
I'm going to keep it playing. I'll still talk through it just so we can get through it,
page,
but I'll keep it playing from now on.
But yeah, so essentially you went through the first one was
okay, Lindsay, now I have to comment on that because that just brought to mind the funniest thing about bananas. Now take, for instance, the banana. God's perfect fruit, or God's perfect snack. It is curved, just perfect to fit into the human hand. It has perforations along its edges, making it ideal for peeling, and flaps lay down over the hand to prevent any mess from occurring. The banana was designed by God specifically for humans. Why don't you take that and smoke on it, atheists? That is, I paraphrased, but that is one of the funniest fucking bits of self-owning evolution debunking that I've ever seen in my life. It was so good. So good. I don't even remember the guy's name. He's a pastor. He talks. It's just type in the banana meme or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. So Helmet was experiencing that a while ago, where he couldn't see some of the messages that were happening. The chat overlay I had at some point on the screen, but it does kind of take up a lot of room. So I don't know if you guys need that, if you need to be able to see each other chatting. Yeah. It ain't that important, let me tell you. Okay, Nazis is something we can talk about too. How about the self-admitted Nazi groups armed in Ukraine that your government pays? Well, I mean, that's not a thing, you know. I'm not sure why you listened to me earlier saying that Putin's excuse for going into Russia or the Ukraine was because he claimed that Nazis were there, but I'm pretty sure that's been debunked a few times over by now. Yo, is this Hassan Piker? No, I am not a rich entitled piece of shit. When USSR did the same to the US in Cuba, the Americans threatened for total war if the Soviets wouldn't step down. It's the same with Russia, Ukraine. I'm really interested in talking about these Nazis rather than
the Great Replacement,
the ones that you think are in Ukraine.
We all know that, at least over here.
If that's cool with you guys.
It's not real.
Hassan Away, what's good? Is this your new thing? If I was rich, I would not be live streaming. I can tell you that much. Austrian painter was betrayed by Russia and the U.S. government. General Patton said the wrong side won. So they don't exist. Ha ha ha. I'm not saying that Nazis don't exist in the Ukraine. Nazis exist pretty much anywhere. But we're talking about American Nazis right now. So, if you want to re-rail, then we can continue on.
So they just say it, and you just say, no, I don't like what you're doing, and then you're just racist for it. But if you say, yes, you're doing it, and I like it, then we're all on the same page. So we don't like it. We don't like the Great Replacement. It's not a theory. It's real.
Oh, shit!
Said, leftists hate the Bible and have no intention on ever submitting to it.
Just not even trying to debunk it.
They think it helps them score political points. So you kind of went out.
So you're saying that the existence of Nazis in Ukraine has been debunked? No, I said I'm sure there are Nazis in Ukraine, but I don't think there's some organized group that you're talking about.
I think we're all on the same page here. Number 5 and 6 is where it's going to be interesting. Pastor Rich, would you want to read it?
That's not even why we're here today. Pan-Slavic Arabism. I don't know how many times I got to tell you.
With relation to ethno-nationalism.
I'm going to show my age here. I'd have to grab my reading glasses to read it off the screen.
Do it. Do it. Get your fucking glasses.
That's great. That's great. You know what is it? The proverb.
Oh shit! Do we have beef with Hassan? I don't really know much about him. Well, Ghost Samurai, I don't know why you would want to say that you support Hitler just right fucking there in the chat, but okay. I don't know Hassan personally, but I think he's a piece of shit. I think that he's a rich, entitled sensationalist who doesn't give a shit about the causes that he supports. I think that he is just using his platform to get richer. Even if he says it's for good reasons, even if he says that the things he's doing are for good reasons, even if he makes the excuse, it's still just sleazy. And I'm clearly not getting paid to do this, and this is what I would rather be doing than, like, bowling or something. So, I don't know. I think if you're going to be an activist, you should be an activist, and you shouldn't just say you're one.
Strength of what is it? The glory of a young man is his eyesight, I think. And there's this strength.
Now, just so you guys know, this guy said that the Great Replacement is not just a theory, it's true, and it's happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was how he opened this, other than playing fucking K-pop Demon Hunters to point out that the guy next to him is Asian.
Identity politics is the answer.
And the other guy called him Jackie Chan.
Kind of the immigration question that you were working through above. In fact, I do not think anyone should be doing racial identity politics.
Yeah, Lindsay, correct. Most of the founders were deists.
It is true in the abstract that if a particular
it's weird to
group
assume that America is a Christian
can
nation.
Fight back as a group. But in the case of white Americans, this simply won't work.
I don't like the Jays. Nobody does. Get IPAC out of foreign governments and the U.S. government. Man, I mean, you're not gonna find many friends here, because we're pretty anti-Nazi around these parts. So,
white discrimination in our culture actually comes from whites. B, whites are ideologically divided between conservatism and progressivism, and ideology always trumps identity. C, white identity politics is not a winning strategy because conservative whites already vote as a bloc, and adding race to a conservative platform will not expand the coalition we already have, and it might actually shrink it. D, identity.
no go, Samurai. The court lets you swear on any document that you want. How come Azov and Pravda organized armed group was in the U.S. Gov terror groups before 2014 and still armed and active and armed by your tax money now called heroes by U.S. now, by the way? Do you not know who the fuck is in our administration? I mean, if you're saying right now, then yeah, understandable. I don't know when you thought that I was ignoring the things that you were saying. I'm saying yes, and I accept them, and it's still wrong. So I don't know where our disconnect is happening. U.S. is religiously free, not Christian. You can choose what to swear on. You don't have to do that, Mr. Samurai. That's just the default. It's secular, but still heavily influenced by Christianity. It's not like. So, the founders were deists, and many of them believed that impressing religion upon others was not cool. And that's why we split off in the first place. I have a group of Google cyber security friends behind the scenes that like me and my anti-Semitic beliefs. Well, Ghost Samurai, none of them are here, and if they are, that's fine, but they're giving me engagement, and none of the people who are here to watch any of this stuff, who support any of this stuff, would be enjoying any of the Nazi rhetoric. So, again, you can stay. I like the engagement, but again, you're just not going to find friends here. And weren't you the one that was saying all kinds of weird fuck? Yeah, you capitalize every word. I remember you. Weirdo. But you're welcome. You're welcome. Stay if you want. Exactly. And separation of church and state should prevent the major religion from imposing its morals on the whole country. Pretty much, it's really all about rights. The second that your rights start to impinge on another's rights, that's when we have a problem. And the issue with incorporating religion into things is that not everybody in the country is religious. And if you want to be able to not be religious and still work within the government, then you need to be able to do that. You got to have the right to do that. So you have to have protections. But you said there is no Nazi organized groups in Ukraine, just something Putin's saying. Yeah, I mean, he is a propagandist. If you've seen any of the propaganda coming out of Russia over the last, I don't know, entire time he's been in office, it's pretty shitty and weird, and it really doesn't point to some systemic issue of Nazism elsewhere. It really just points to Putin being a dictator. And crazy thing, they have so much influence in Ukraine government. Dude, come on, man. You're talking to me about foreign affairs. I'm talking about American Nazis.
Politics has a terrible track record of actually.
Judge told me swear on Bible. I said no. She got angry. That's just not true. And then everyone clapped. I just don't like those people, but you can guess why. Jews, and probably just because you're racist. Israel is literally an ethno state, so really two sides of the same coin. Dude, it was formed. They made it that way. Like, you don't have to be anti-Semitic to know that Israel is doing some heinous fucking shit. Just like any other country, just like Russia is doing some heinous fucking shit. You really don't need to be any kind of zealot. It's just such a weird stance. Meanwhile, non-Russians moving to Russia regularly complain about Russian-only rental policies. For real. Zionists can't settle like they want. I'm demon-possessed. The typing is due to possession. Yep, that's verified. See, you guys are agreeing with a person who's possessed by a demon. So I guess, I don't know. I think Not So Private, you aren't Christian, so that doesn't matter to you. Beg me for his life while saying I'm not human, I'm Satan. I don't know why you're shaking your head. It's literally an ethno-state with supremacist undertones and rather over... Yeah, I was just saying that! Yes! Israel is a terror country. I was just saying that! Did you just compare Russia and Israel? Yes! Why do you have to confirm the things I'm saying? And Christians blindly follow Israel. Well, American Christians tend to. When in the Bible, God was pissed at them most of the time. Oh, that was his chosen people. Right?
There is no reason
Hebrews?
to think a white identity politics will
If you
actually
took
lead to a
slaves,
greater
you had to
flourishing
let
of
your
whites.
Hebrew
So
slave
fixation on
out on the
identity
year of
almost
Jubilee.
always
And you couldn't keep
seems
his
to
wife or
make
child
identity groups
for yourself as
lazy,
property.
entitled, etc. So we can start there and see if you have any disagreements in there, Kongman, and then we can kind of tease that out, and then we can go on to the racial identity politics next.
Okay.
So, what in that?
He's sounding a little horny.
Do you agree with, disagree with, or would you take issue with?
Let's just insert the
I
tip and then we'll
disagree with-
tease
and
that
this is
out a
coming
little
from
bit.
Korean,
And then
so,
maybe we can
it's
fondle the
like-
balls in
it's
just a
a little
moment.
weird, right? Like this.
Korean card. You're playing the race card.
No, it's a little weird. It's like I feel weird defending.
It is 12 minutes and 55 seconds. He's been on camera for maybe 2 minutes, and they have mentioned his race now 4 times. And even called him Jackie Chan, and played fucking K-pop Demon Hunters for him as his intro music.
White identity politics as a
Are these
Korean,
good
but
Christians?
I'm not defending it insofar as I'm a
Christians
I'm
out there,
white
are these good
supremacist and
Christians?
Things like that. But I do think that identity politics is not a
Israel doesn't even like Christians or Jesus. No shit. Jihadists. Yes, thank you. American Christians follow Israel. Most other real Christians don't care about Israel, and rest support Palestine as they should. Okay, cool. So then we agree.
distraction, nor is it a losing strategy. It's actually a winning strategy. And it's a winning
It's
strategy
then
for
weird
the
that I
very
would
reason
have
why we
such
see
a
Hungary
crazy
doing a lot
stance
better.
about something
Doing a lot
else,
better
right?
with their right-wing resurgence
Or
in,
maybe I might
fighting
have some insight
from
that you don't. I don't know.
a fundamental place. of
Maybe I
identity.
haven't been exposed to
And
propaganda. I
The
don't
reason
know.
why
I
so
don't
much
know.
of modern politics
don't
and the
know.
culture war is so contentious, it's not.
I wouldn't
because
study
we're
or
debating
attend at church they go
ideology
to.
or economic philosophy,
But they're
or,
Christians.
foreign policy. Like that's really not what people are debating. We're
I would
debating
assume
fundamental
Protestants.
issues of identity.
Those
And so
Christians
this
should have
is
their
why,
hard
as a
drive checks.
Christian,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very fundamental for us to find our
Pan-American
identity
Christians are
in Christ
brainwashed. They lack
foremost, because
critical
that's
thinking
the
skills.
One identity that gives us
Yeah.
secure and 100%
Sure,
security
I
and
agree.
peace and hope for this life, but also the life to
Slavic,
come.
we have
But-
agreed.
and so that's why a lot.
We've agreed on everything else. There's just one glaring issue that we don't agree on. And you seem that's something that you're so fervent about that it just ruins all of our other friendship status aspects, you know. See, I'm not that close-minded. I think we can still be friends, but you seem to think that dissing Putin and suggesting that people in other countries suck penis is not possible. So, I mean, you know, that puts a wedge between us, man. Maybe, maybe not. Only God can tell. America has fetishes towards kids, and 9 out of 9 are Christian. 9 out of 10 are Christians.
I think in your post you mentioned about
Oh man.
a lot of our culture war is theological, which is.
I
very
mean,
true.
I think it's
But also
probably
another
the other
part
way
of
around.
identity is who we are.
So 9 out
in
of
this
10
life,
people
in our body,
in
our
America.
flesh, and not in our flesh in the sense of our
Well, maybe
sin.
not 9
our
out of
sin
10. I'd say
nature, but
maybe
our flesh in our very body.
It's a good 2/3 at the very
are
least are
who we
like
are
just
as people
fucking
is an
monstrous
extension
scumbags.
of our ancestry.
And
So we
then
can't
the rest
separate who we
are just
as
people who are like,
from our
what the
heritage and our
fuck is
flesh."
happening right now?
And this is something that roots a lot of people. This is
And
what
there are a
gives
lot of Christians in
people
that-
meaning
in
and
that,
identity. And yes, Christ's our
Slice.
identity as sons and daughters in God is first and foremost. Yes, no one's discounting that. But because that is true, it doesn't negate all the other.
These guys
parts
don't say a lot of
me,
scripture, though.
Of Joshua, of Pastor Rich, that makes you who you are, and a part of that is where we come from. We identify from where we come from.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
The reason why.
So you'll notice that through this guy speaking, he really doesn't say much.
I believe identity politics is a winning strategy, even if you look at the results.
I really
of,
wish
you know,
that I could
female identity
make this
politics, or
quick.
Black identity politics. No, they've been winning.
Haha, man, you said to me first, I suck dick. No, I didn't say that. I said you're sucking Putin's dick. If you can read between the lines and use a little bit of common sense, that means that you are puffing him up unnecessarily. I just stated my opinion about Russia based on facts. Your opinion is an opinion, and facts are facts. They're two different things. Most Christians are very legalistic and rigid. They lack the soft heart and tolerance of others. I mean, isn't that kind of like part of the hypocritical teachings of Jesus? There should be a book called The Hypocritical Teachings of Jesus. That'd be pretty cool. But one of those is isn't that harden your hearts? And then the other one is having like an open heart or something like that. Actually, have you tried talking to a Christian? I have videos on my channel of me talking to Christians. If you did, you would know that everything equals Jesus. Pi equals Jesus. It's the thing that cannot be explained that always equals Jesus. And that's just where I don't mesh with Christians. I don't think that that's, where I would put my chips. But that just tends to be what other people do. Put their chips on. Trying to circle it back around. We kind of got there. We stumbled in the landing, but we got there.
To subvert the country and to destroy.
Not you really invest time into talking to Christians. You need a
means and people, globalists, whatever. If you want to,
I don't know what that is.
But the reality
Emoji?
is they've been winning and they are winning. They're still winning to this day. And there's a lot of cope right now saying that woke is dead, and it's not really. Like, there's a guy in Portland who literally was stabbed, and because he said the N-word after being stabbed, the jury let off the criminal. And even to this day, in all of our major cities, there are criminals who are being...
So, again, I don't know if you're having trouble keeping up with the one point that he's making. He was saying that criminals are getting away with attacking people because people are afraid to be racist.
Let loose because it's racist.
Wrap your head around that one.
Incarceration rates for high crime and things like that. So even if you look at feminism, most women,
yeah,
even
let's
in the
look at
conservative
feminism.
sphere, are feminist. They're feminist, and they are allergic to the idea of submission to their husbands and all of these things. The feminist
Most women
project,
is what he's
the
saying.
Black egalitarian project, all these things. They've been winning and they are winning. And the reason why they've been winning is because they've been appealing to a part of who we are and a core part of each person's identity, which namely goes to this, which is, racial identity, ethnic identity is a part of who we are and who people are. And that's just something that we can't escape as people. And so I think once we try...
Did you hear all of that? Nothing. So let's dive a little deeper. My nose is plugged. I'm having trouble breathing. My nose is plugged. And so, I have a sinus infection. And so I can't breathe through my nose. And I'm trying. And it feels like I'm suffocating. It's like I have to remind myself every time.
It's not really. Like, there's a guy in Portland who literally beautiful
Okay.
for, there's a lot of nefarious means and people, globalists, whatever, if you want to subscribe to the JQ. But the reality is they've been winning and they are winning. They're still winning to this day. And there's a lot of cope right now saying that woke is dead, and it's not really. Like, there's a guy in Portland who literally was stabbed, and because he said the N-word after being stabbed, the jury let off the criminal.
So, first of all, that's a made-up story. I could try looking for it, but I didn't find it when I searched before. I live in Portland, by the way. And I'm pretty sure... I don't know if that was a shooting. There was a stabbing across from the library, but it didn't really have... I think... So... It's getting warmer earlier in the year, and so I think there are more allergens in the air because, plants are going holy shit, let's start fucking budding right now! And so I think that there's, just more pollen in the air right now. When I don't want to become dependent on my allergy pills, but I have the Costco ones that are the 24-hour thing, and those clear it right up. But I don't think that it's an antihistamine thing. I think it's just a me needing to get used to the burst of allergens that are in the... I don't know. I get skin rashes too sometimes just because of just all of the the pollutants in the air and shit. I don't need to tell you this. Let me just settle into story mode here. I don't think I need to tell anybody this, but I look pretty poor. As you can tell just by looking at my mug, I'm a pretty impoverished human being, and I grew up not really going to the doctor when I got sick. And so when I got allergies for the first time, I really got allergies, and I basically had an asthma attack and almost died in front of my mom, and she thought that I was being like dramatic, and I was like, no, I like I really can't breathe, and she was like, oh shit, and I was like ambulance, and she was like, oh shit, and so we went and got like the rescue inhaler and stuff, and so I basically just kind of had to learn how to deal with asthma without medication, and so like normally it's I just kind of get used to it. Oh yeah, no problem. Slavic Arabism. Jesus fucking Christ. Have a good one, man. Enjoy your day. Flonase is expensive, unfortunately, and the other stuff that Costco has is sort of like Flonase, but it's also kind of expensive, and those were like $11 for like 300 pills. Yeah. It was tough growing up with someone who thought that she was doing good as a parent and ended up giving you an asthma attack the first time you ever got allergies.
To have high incarceration rates for high crime and things like that. So even if you look at feminism, most women, even in the
so he didn't even so okay again now just to remind you guys, he was talking about how there's a lot of people that say cope because of, you know, oh, woke is dead. And people are thinking woke is dead. He's like, no, it's not, because some guy got stabbed, and just because he said the N-word, he actually said the N-word before he got stabbed. It was part of the story that I was going to tell. But there was a group of kids, and I saw the security footage. There was a group of kids that was standing outside of the library, and a guy is walking by on the other side of the street, and he's like yelling something at the kids. And so they're like, they look over, and then he just fucking yells the N-word, like just straight up, like, you fucking, and then just yells the N-word. And so then they run across the street because they're about to go beat up a dude. And it didn't turn out that way. He ran, like, I think he got on the bus or some shit, and you know, he ran away, but he came back. Like they went back across the street, and he came back. And he said he like was on the same side of the street, and then he stood there and was like trying to confront them for chasing after him. A group of like kids, all in their teen. I don't know about any of you 40-plus-year-olds, but it would be damn hard to beat up a bunch of 16, 17-year-old kids from the neighborhood. You know, just saying, like, don't go looking for that kind of trouble. But yeah, they ended up stabbing him.
They're feminist, and they are.
But that's what he was saying. He said
that makes you who you are and our sin nature, but our flesh and our 100% security and peace and hope politics or black identity politics. No, our as people is an extension of our ancestry. So we can't separate who we are as people from our heritage and our ancestry. And this is something that roots a lot of people. This is what gives a lot of people meaning and identity. And yes, our identity as sons and daughters in God is first and foremost. Yes, no one's discounting that. But because that is true, it doesn't negate all the other parts of me, of Joshua, of Pastor Rich, that makes you who you are. And a part of that is where we come from. We identify from where we come from. And so,
again, this is gobbledygook. This is nothing. He's just saying that we're a product of where we're from over and over and over again using different words.
The reason why I believe identity politics is the winning strategy, even if you look at the results of, you know, female identity politics or black identity politics. No, they've been winning. They've been winning, but they're...
And his example is one case in the country where female identity politics and black identity politics have won. That's what he's saying.
Their end goal was to subvert the country and to destroy all of that which is good, true, and beautiful for... You know, there's a lot of nefarious means and people.
So he's not okay. He's saying that being woke is meant to destroy these things. Listen to him.
But their end goal was to subvert the country.
This is woke people. This is people who are quote unquote woke. That means, for those who don't know what woke means, it's when you are aware of the injustices that have happened historically throughout the country's, lifetime, and want to try and make steps towards having a better future. More equitable, more equality, shit like that. That's what being woke is. It's just being aware of things. We're proud of where we're from, but also I'm Irish, Scottish, Polish, Italian, Jamaican, Martian, Ding Dong, King Kong. That was slightly racist on my part.
All that which is good,
But it wasn't towards that guy. It was just
for,
Ding Dong
There's
Kong.
a lot of nefarious means and people.
But so he's saying, right, so that it is,
Their end goal was
yes, and continue to happen. I agree.
to subvert the country
That woke people's goal was to subvert the country,
and to destroy all that which is good.
and that woke people's goal, again, these are people who are aware of injustices and want things to be equal and equitable moving forward. Again, to him, these are people who specifically wanted to undermine everything that is good and right
And beautiful.
and beautiful.
For, there's a lot of nefarious means that
And he just says there's a lot of nefarious means.
people, globalists, whatever, if you want to subscribe to the JQ. But the reality is they've been winning and they are winning. They're still winning.
One thing that he says is correct, that progressivism is overall a more popular thing. And, man, I hate explaining this because I don't want to, give up the secret. But all it takes is just knowing how humans evolved. Just knowing how we moved from nomadic cultures into civilizations and formed societies. That's all you got to do. You just got to look back into that window through time. If you were a creature, an ape-like man-beast thing, and you fought alongside other man-beast-ape things, then you would take down the rhino, or you'd take down the woolly mammoth, or you'd take down the Tyrannosaurus Rex, or whatever. You would take him down together, and you'd all be able to feast on the meat. Whereas the lone wolf guy, he's out there still trying to harpoon himself an elephant. And societies and civilizations and things like that, they don't form just because. They form out of a necessity for protection, for progression through time, through, it's the natural instinct of people to want to defend, to want to turtle, to want to have a good, comfy place that they can raise children and increase their population. That is how human civilization has always worked. So if you look forward into modern day, it's not it's an imperative. It still looks like a survival imperative, and it still is a survival imperative to be a functioning part of society, to be a part of a civilization that is cohesive and works together. So including more people into that, even according to studies that conservatives like to link, that they say proves that racism is good. Yes, I've had that debate before. You should watch it. It's on my channel. Even when they cite studies that seem to agree, the reason that those studies say, and I guess I could try and find it and do like a follow-up on stream sometime, but he got really mad at me. The studies say that the perception of outgroups increases fear of crime and increases insecurity and comfort. Now, there's a psychological component to that says that we only grow in our brains. We only grow when we step outside of our comfort zone, which is true. That's how the brain develops, and that's how we get all them lovely wrinkles and brain juices and shit. But also, what that means is that people are more free. That means that people are better protected, so they have time to worry about those little things. All of the fear of an outgroup posing a danger, that's a luxury that our reptile brains, when they're active, when we're hunting mammals and shit, doesn't give us the luxury of using. So, yeah, it's really the simplest explanation as to why we need more people in society and more diversity of thought, because it encourages more growth in society and civilizations. So racism is actually bad for society.
to this day. And there's a lot of cope right now saying that woke is dead, and it's not really. Like, there's a guy in Portland who
He's stating one case here. Just one. And he even gets the details wrong. And he uses that as his example as to how woke is winning when there's still systemic racism in this country.
literally was stabbed, and because he said the N
I'll let it play. I'm gonna grab some more water, and then I'll be, and then I have to pee, and I'll be right back. I don't know, Silly Goose. History is pretty clear about things like the Barbary, pirates, and the Ottoman Empire. Of course, everything's layered. Forming societies is a natural instinct. It's not something that we had to implement. We didn't have to come up with the idea of society. We got together in tribes, and then those tribes got together into civilizations. I would assume that someone with an Eastern-sounding username would be of Eastern descent and would probably know that already. I don't know, Silly Goes history. Yes, Barbary exists. I didn't say that society got together and said, hey, let's stop killing and let's stop enslaving and let's stop doing all those, murders and bad things. I'm saying that they just got together. That is a progression of society, and progress is often noted by the things that different civilizations coming together agree is popular. See what I'm saying? Trenton Carey in with the hot take saying racism doesn't exist. You're all pseudoscience. What am I claiming? What science am I claiming? I don't know what your point is, dude. You got to come up with a point. And racism does exist, actually. Racism exists even in the world today. And you saying it doesn't exist is actually a pretty good case for why it does. All right, I'm going to get some more water. I'm going to pee. I will be right back. You'll be able to see BRB on Twitch, but you won't be able to see it on the vertical video. But I will go ahead and let this play so you guys can hear.
So even if you look at feminism, most women, even in the conservative sphere, are feminists.
When the Chinese were invaded by the Mongols, were they not right to be fearful of replacement? Not replacement. Nope. See, that's where you went wrong.
All of these things, the feminist project, the Black egalitarian
That's where you went
project,
wrong. There
all
was
these
no
things,
replacement.
They've been winning,
theory
and they are winning. And the reason why they've been
dude.
winning is because they've been appealing to a part of who we are and a core part of each person's identity, which namely goes to this, which is, racial identity, ethnic identity is a part of who we are and who people are. And that's just something that we can't escape as people. And so I think once we try to do that, it's a false anthropology that results actually in us losing. And for white heritage Americans, it results in them losing.
Okay, so before we keep going and before I have you respond to some of that, Pastor Rich, Congman, can you give us a definition? So we're talking about ethno-nationalism, and I think a lot of people just hear that word, that phrase, and it's terrifying to them. Like they think they're just picturing swastikas immediately.
Also,
like
talking about the in group, not the out group. Get it right.
Like that's what they're thinking. And so whenever you're talking about ethno-nationalism, and really the question I want to get to today is it lawful for Christians to pursue ethno-nationalism or to approve of or to pursue? And even if it is it wise and prudent? If so, if it is lawful, is it wise and prudent? So we'll get to that. But first, before Pastor Rich responds, I'd like for you to just lay out what is ethno-nationalism and what does it mean for the viewer who's like watching or listening to this right now?
Well, yeah, nationalism, of course, nationalism is the opposite spectrum of globalism. So nationalism is putting the interests of your country, your nation, your people first over the nations of other nations. This whole global, we are all interconnected. We're all these rootless cosmopolitans, and it doesn't matter. So we're gonna have free trade, all that stuff. So I think everyone intrinsically understands that, like putting your people first, putting your nation first.
So what about it?
That's why America First
Are
is
these
very
guys good
popular.
Christians?
But ethno-nationalism.
Oh my
is
God, my
something
legs
that's
are
been created
gone.
in modern times because
Oh,
we live in
no.
a multicultural, multi-ethnic country.
My legs are disappeared.
Your nationalism
Isn't that
is
crazy?
tied to your ethnicity. But the reality is, nationalism, nationality, nations comes from the Latin root, and then ethnos, ethnicity, comes from the Greek root. That means the same.
Has he stopped
thing.
saying
It's
word
of
salad
the
yet?
Same people of the same origin, of
I doubt
common
it.
origin and common ancestry. So this idea that we can separate nationality and ethnicity actually wasn't even in
Sorry.
the English
Sorry, microphone.
lexicon until
Sorry, headphone
the
users.
60s. So ethnicity was coined in 1920, I believe, and then so
Hold on. Hold on. Did he just say
this idea that we can separate nationality and ethnicity actually wasn't even in the English lexicon until the 60s.
He said ethnicity wasn't invented until the 20s. Go fish. Agreed. I've heard that. I don't know if it's. I assume it's true. I don't know. He definitely made a lot of mention of not being in it, so I gotta assume that you're probably in it. You've probably been in it lots of times. Do you think women exist? Do you think that are you asking if I think women exist? Or are you asking Trenton Carey if he thinks that women exist? Asians, 1/3 of Asians said to be descendants. I don't care. I don't really want to talk about ethnic genocide. You're trying to push replacement theory. It doesn't matter what form it's in. It's not correct. It's literally established. Jesus Christ. There are just patterns repeating over time. Yada yada yada. Yes, right. Racism is definitely a pattern that has cropped up over many different centuries, all the time, and it sucks. Hate exists, but not racism. Okay. Got any other nuggets of wisdom? Race is dumb. Culture is important. Americans' culture is a mix of various cultures. Whose heritage does the Heritage Foundation stand for? I don't know, Adam.
So,
Fuck you talking about,
ethnicity
man?
was coined in 1920, I believe, and then so nationality and ethnicity were used. Well, nationality.
Right, and yet study after study after study after study comes out that says diversity is actually good for humanity. So you know, are you on the side of helping people proliferate, or are you on the side of trying to keep that from happening? You got to look at your perspectives, man. You got to look at where you're coming from. If you're on the side of Nazis, of, you know, eugenics, of trying to control whether people can procreate or not, then I got to say you're on the bad side. Not on the good side. And we already know that you don't like the J word, so I just assume, you know, that you probably don't like the mixing of other cultures together either, so it's just kind of par for the course, right? If there's only one race, racism can't exist. That's true. That's true, Trenton. Diversity already exists and is doing the max amount of good. Okay. We don't need more, LOL. Well, what we do need is to make sure that the protections that exist are being enforced and that people are being held accountable for breaking those protections. Diversity is good, but only if each piece brings something to the table. I mean, right. Helmet in with the benign take. I agree, sure. How dare you say something that I just implicitly agree with? You're picking winners and choosers, though. Nature doesn't care. Nature only selects the winner. Nature doesn't select anything. The winner is just who happens to come out on top, and that's not necessarily a bad thing when, you know, I guess when a culture takes over another culture, that's not good, but that's typically due to war and colonialism and invasion and things like that, which we've already heard me say many times is not cool. When other cultures integrate into a society, that's the less shitty thing that is the example of what I'm talking about. And that's typically how America, I guess, is formed. America was kind of like a roaring engine that took off really quickly and just kind of snatched up all the other people in the world that were like going through famines and genocides and things like that. So, I mean, I guess we're kind of like the Christians. Like we took advantage of people at their lowest points and incorporated them into the country. But overall, I mean, aside from having slaves for so long, incorporating other cultures into America was overall a good thing. So, yeah. What's a thing? Yeah, dude. I think what you mean to ask is, what is a woman? Because woman and female can mean different things, and I think the going meme is, what is a woman, not what is a female. Because female is the scientific thing, and then woman is like the one that you can make mean whatever you want.
It was used in place of ethnicity, because everyone understood until the 60s, until the Hart-Celler Act, until mass migration happened, that nationality is your ethnicity. Like, your ethnicity is your nationality. If you are a Korean, you are Korean. You know, like, if you're an American, you're an American. If you're a French, you're a Frenchman. Like, these are things that people all understood until the modern era because of mass migration. So
So what he's saying is that humanity is too stupid to understand that mixing cultures is bad, and that when we look back at history, it was actually the mixing of cultures that, you know, was a bad thing, and that, you know, that it's good to understand that where you come from is who you are. Although there are Korean Americans, there are Chinese Americans, there are Russian Americans, there are Jewish Americans, there are Black Americans, there are white Americans, there are there are plenty of different cultures that live in other countries, and you can be a Korean Russian. You can be I mean, I don't know if Putin lets you. Rome made us noble. Rome didn't make us anything. We took some aspects of our government from the Roman style, as well as like some of the baselines for shit, but we kind of have evolved over then since the Industrial Revolution. America was the quickest to start and end slavery. I guess if we're judging by like the timeline when they formed to when they ended slavery, then yeah, I agree with you there. A woman and female is the same. No, they're not. Culture is just a mainstream culture or mainstream cult. I just made that up. I'm brilliant. Trenton, no, it's not. That makes you sound smarter when you push back against shit that people don't understand. Just don't get colonized by less noble. What? What do you mean noble? It's not good or bad necessarily if there is no objective morality. I mean, we observe, again, ethics in nature, and we form our morality from what we as a society has agreed is wrong and right and stuff, so I don't know. I don't know what, where you think, I'm assuming you think morality comes from God, which, no, that's not the baselines that I was talking about. Yeah. It's all good, brother. If you actually cared about trans people, you wouldn't have all lied. So you can't just lump all people together, man. Not even a single group. You can't lump them all together. About puberty blockers being reversed when there's literal government studies saying otherwise. Do you know who's running our government? A bunch of anti-trans people. So obviously the studies would be biased, especially if they're making up other documents and putting their letterhead on it. Can a woman have a penis? A trans woman can. And a trans man, no, because then they're still a trans man. Yeah, trans woman can. Baselines, reading and writing. No, baselines like the, what you call it? The fucking, like, doctors and, like, fucking literature and shit, you know? Like, I mean, we got some of the baselines from ancient civilizations, but again, so did all of humanity. So I don't know what your point is, saying that that Rome did anything for us. Mixing cultures can result in demonization on both sides. Right, but that's because you are more free and because you are more defended and you're more able to have time to worry about things like that. Making up the puberty blockers affect bone density. It's a mechanism that's well understood. I don't know. Trans people exist and you can't just say they don't. Philosophy science. A man can only have a penis. A trans man, according to you, should never be able to have a penis. So even in that statement, you sound really stupid. Institutions, economy, yes, I said a lot of aspects of the government, but that doesn't mean that we took anything specifically from Rome. If you hate Trump, then you are a pedophile. I mean, that's tested and not true. That's testable, that's observable, that is... I mean, that is just a baseline fact that liking Trump is usually what associates people with pedophiles. Objective morality cannot come from humanity. It can only come from whoever created humanity or whatever, Big Bang or God. No, we observe ethical decisions in nature, so it is a thing that evolves naturally. Right, Gargoyle, I agree with you. I don't know where you think we disagree. Well, see, you just said that I'm free and I'm safer, but you don't know that you literally generalized after you complained about me generalizing. I don't know who you think I generalized, but I didn't. Only 2 genders. If that's what you think, then okay. But the DSM-5 is, to my knowledge, the most recent entry in the overall psychological paradigm, and that typically is what tells you whether or not something is a mental illness. And gender dysphoria was actually found to be a result of not transitioning. So, yeah. And me saying that 2B blockers aren't reversible isn't me denying trans people. You're making these runaway narratives. Well, no, you have to take things at what they mean. You can't just look at the words and say, oh, they're simply saying something about puberty blockers. Your ultimate goal is to get me to believe, or to get somebody else to believe, or to convince yourself that trans people don't or shouldn't exist. And that's not something that I agree with. So I'm just making it to the end of your argument before you get a chance to. Trans people are just cosplayers. No, cosplayers are cosplayers. A transformer is invented, not original. I fucking love Transformers, dude. Optimus Prime. Do you remember like the first, like that one that came out in the 80s? You sound triggered. I mean, no, I've been mad on stream before, but it definitely wasn't over politics or religion. It was over, I think, repeatedly dying in Enshrouded. I continually continue to do that, and it is endlessly frustrating. But no, I almost never get angry over politics or religion. There's no such thing as objective morality. All we have are subjective morals. I think that it's really just, people just need to realize that morals exist. Like, they don't need a religion in order to do that. I don't know why people seem to think that. I disagree. Values change over time, meaning our current body of values will change subjective to time. You're disproving Christianity there. Do you want other people in here to be happy with that? I also failed to see how me mentioning that puberty blockers aren't reversible, like the media tried to say, is also me saying that trans people do. Well, that's what you're getting at. But that's what you're saying. You guys all said puberty blockers. I didn't say anything about puberty blockers. I have never once made a public statement about puberty blockers. So stop lumping me in with people, man. That's not what I'm saying yet at all. You're running away with a narrative about who I believe should exist, because at the end of the day, you are trying to argue that trans people either shouldn't get treatment, or that they shouldn't exist, or that, you know, you're trying to just argue against trans people, and that's just not a thing, man. We've all agreed that trans people exist. I think people have moved beyond to saying, oh, well, trans people are ruining women's sports, or trans people are predators, or, you know, they've moved beyond into saying trans people are other things, as opposed to trying to say that they shouldn't exist. So, you know, you're just, well, you're in a room full, apparently you're in a room full of like people who believe that some religion exists. I don't know the majority are Christian, but a lot of them are religious. I don't know why so many people, religious people, get into the chat, but, you know, I welcome people of all faiths. That's not, you know, can women have babies? Trans women can, if they keep their ovaries. I'm trying to, don't tell me what I'm trying to, you support people committing genital mutilation. I never said that on themselves. That's not caring about people. That's enabling self-destructive. You and I both know doctors aren't acting in good faith. Nobody knows that. You're, again, speaking for an entire profession of millions upon millions of people. There's serious problems in the medical industrial complex, to which I agree. To defend that is foolish. I'm not defending anything. I don't know why you think I am. You think Rome invented women's rights? Gonna have to disagree with you there, Gargoyle. Our values as humans change over time, meaning objective morality cannot be derived from humans, as our morality is subject to change over time. Why then is it God? Why then does it just go to God? Because before, you said that values change over time, which means that they are permeable and subject to evolution, meaning our current body of values will change subjective to time. You know what time gives you a chance to do? Evolve. Yeah, Rome picked my ancestors up. Probably. Can men have babies? Didn't you ask me that already? Can men have babies? If it's a trans man who has not had their ovaries removed, yes. Well, it's really just two sides of the same coin. Everyone on the right saying everything's about Jesus, and everyone on the left saying everyone's a Nazi. Again, you're not speaking about me. I don't know who you're speaking about. because I don't blanket any one group with any one label. I call Nazis Nazis. These guys are Nazis.
Nationalism. It just really just means like
Big time.
nation nationalism. It
Yes, definitely improved from them. I don't know why you think that they invented women's rights. Why are you so obsessed with Rome, man? Why don't you invent a time machine and go live there, huh? Yes, I am literally talking about Nazis. I just said that I was talking about Nazis. But I don't blanket entire groups of people as Nazis. So, no, I don't. I didn't generalize anybody at no point. Oh, God. I've been calling out fundamentalism. I've been calling out strict adherence and zealots. Remember? Don't you remember me saying that? Zealots? Specifically. Pretty sure the first human rights were codified by the Code of Hammurabi. Yeah, I was going to say, it's been around since, like, tribalism. There were cultures that were matriarchal. Like, I don't know why you think Rome did anything for women's rights. It had stuff like child support and basically your first codified set of laws. Yeah. You definitely blanket people. Nope, I'm sorry, I don't generalize any groups. I didn't. When did you see me say that? Because I didn't. I don't do that. I specifically don't do that. I said objective morality cannot be derived. Just because you say something doesn't mean it's true. Without full scope, current existing humans will live under a different set of values, and the humans in the future both will say it's good. Right, like we used to support slavery and now we don't. Correct. That's because culture evolves. And then, so here's a moral dilemma for you if you don't want to, the blanket? No, there are no good Nazis. I don't know why you think that's a gotcha. That's not a moral dilemma. There are no good Nazis. And no, I don't blanket entire groups unless you're talking about Nazis. If there are people who are espousing Nazi beliefs, then I will probably call them Nazis. And if they're straight up Nazis like these guys, I will probably call them Nazis.
That was contrived so that people would not fight for their country and see that, try to brainwash and condition people into thinking that fighting for your own people and for the preservation of your own people is inherently wrong and evil and bigoted.
So
you just blanketed everything. You sound like a Christian telling me that I'm going to hell unless I believe in Jesus because you believe there are good Nazis? You know that's a really shitty take, right? So you're saying objective morality is subject to change over time. You just said that. You just said, and I didn't say objective, I said morality. I said morality evolves with society. We're the one that decide things. We're the one that say murder as a society is not correct. Murder is not cool, so we don't murder people. We have laws against that. Those laws didn't come from God. They just are laws that we made as a society. When we formed things, got together, we made up those laws. The argument you propose is unsubstantiated, though. What argument? You think that there are good Nazis? Because there aren't. And so you're saying that me saying that Nazis aren't good is somehow a generalization. You don't murder people, yet you all talk, again, more generalization, about punching Nazis in the face. I've never punched a Nazi in the face. Indirect conflict, the way law works. I don't know why you're just making shit up right now. I'm sure there was more less or good people that got swept up in the Nazi party. Well, yeah, 80% of the people during that time supported the Nazis, especially pre-World War II Europe, but I would argue those people aren't really Nazis at heart. Nah. But that doesn't mean that during that time they're good Nazis. It just means that their intent was not necessarily consistent, I guess you would say. It's like burying your head in the sand. It's like that kind of thing. If I don't see it, it has no effect on me. Trenton Carey, do you think America was the first country to make a law against murdering someone? And just so you know, American laws did not come from the Bible. They specifically did not come from the Bible. So, again, you're probably going to have to reread your history books. No, you did. You boxed in your thoughts. I didn't say anything about Christianity. No, I said that most of the people that watch me are religious and would claim themselves to be Christians. And the thing that you said about how morals evolve over time disproves their anti-evolution beliefs. So I was just making a comment that you're debunking Christianity by saying that. That was just an observation that I was making because I thought it was cheeky and funny for any of the potential Christians watching. No, they didn't come from the Bible. Most of the leadership during that time was deist, which means sometimes that they had a belief in God, but didn't necessarily believe that it was... They were able to put it aside in the pursuit of justice and science and things. So no, the laws did not come from the Bible. So, just saying. That's really weird because, you know, when we actually made up a lot of the stuff that we codified into law, we specifically were doing that to express a freedom from religion. I don't know if you remember anything about the Declaration of Independence or about the Constitution, but they're specifically not religious for a good reason. Is it okay for China in Venezuela to be nationalist? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about China and Venezuela. It's interesting how much more of this type of engagement you receive from... I know. YouTube is...
So, yeah, Pastor Rich.
A very good
Well, I've got some follow-up
place
questions, but first I want to hear
for
from you,
people
Pastor Rich, on anything.
Who are-
So I agree with that ethno-nationalism is
religious or
is redundant
others.
terminology. An ethnicity is a nationality and vice versa. But particularly with America, that raises
No, it's
some
not.
pretty complex questions. And I would point out that ethnicity, therefore, is not the same as race. Race is a real category, too. Races really do exist.
Okay,
but
there,
race
if
is
there,
different.
all three of those don't just
So,
exist in
you know,
some kind of
when
weird
we started
whirlwind.
off talking about whiteness and white identity politics.
Looks
and then
Roman
we
over in
shifted
America
to
too. Oh yeah, it's
ethnicity.
looking more and
So
more Roman
I am
every day.
white
I know what you're saying, Gargoyle.
racially. I am
Even if we implemented every law in the Bible, it has nothing to do with whether or not supernatural claims in it are true. True. It's to separate the government from religion, not the opposite. Trenton, I bet you think you made a point, but you didn't. I just love how it's not okay for Americans to be nationalists, but it's okay for other countries to be nationalist. You were trying to talk about how I generalized people. Can you please give me an example of how I did that? Because you're kind of running away from that now.
ethnically American. There are lots of white people who are not American. and
Other
there
people
lots
are
of
doing bad
Americans who are
things.
white.
Why can't
So I
we?
can share an ethnicity with somebody of a different
Did I say that at any point?
race, and I can share a race with somebody of a different ethnicity. So that's the way. Obviously these terms get used in different ways, but I think that's probably the best way to use them. Race is a biological category, and it can carry some other content in addition to that.
I didn't say the oldest stuff. I said the baseline stuff. So if there's a basis for, I don't know, people being detectives, it probably came from some ancient language, or probably came from some ancient culture. It's Gargoyle, you're not making a new point or anything. You're not giving any new information. You're just saying that we adopted things from other cultures along the way. What grand point is that? That being a Nazi is okay? Or I don't know what you're trying to get at. Thinking has nothing with evidence.
But it's fundamentally a biological
I hope you take a moment to think
category,
about what you just said.
whereas ethnicity is a political and cultural category. So that's how I look at it. So yeah, I would agree.
Again, Gargoyle,
Saying that out loud, Pastor Rick.
you're lost in the sauce, man. I don't know what point you're trying to make, so
Well, hopefully they'll come after you and not me. But
That's actually interesting. So I don't mean to interrupt, but that's actually most people in this discourse actually use it differently, where they say ethnicity is biological, and then race is like a social construct. So I just thought that's interesting.
Well, that's interesting too, because that
No,
touches on this
you
idea of
idiots.
like people who claim, and I'm friendly.
every concept is a social construct. I don't think that there are any people who aren't zealously religious who would believe that any concept is just straight up there or divine. I mean, it's just fuck, man.
To this idea that America has had an ethnogenesis, and that ethnogenesis,
It's crazy.
there is an American ethnicity, and that
You don't need to think to receive evidence. Oh man. I wish I could just clip that. That's. I'm so sorry for you. That's what they brought us, even what Rome didn't invent. Okay, what is your point? What is your point? Rome was cool. What is your point? Therefore, Hitler? I assume that you're getting somewhere anti-Semitic, or that you're getting somewhere, I don't know. With all this preamble, it can't be something that's like benign. It has to be something that's pretty fucking monstrous if you're gonna puff it up this much. So just get to the end already.
Ethnicity would include blacks who have been here for generations upon generations and who have a heritage here. But you're saying.
Okay, but I don't get the point of that. I didn't say it wasn't like Rome. I mean, I don't understand. What are we discussing here? I mean, it's not culturally like Rome. It's certainly not like Rome in the modern day. Well, yeah, who stole a lot of their shit from the Mesopotamians, who stole a lot of their shit from Egypt, who stole a lot of their shit, or Egypt, Mesopotamia, no, Egypt, what is it, Egypt, Babylon, Mesopotamia? I don't remember the progression. Trenton, you don't have your own thoughts. I don't know. Again, you've said 3 things now that have just kind of made me go, wow, dude. Just make a point, man. You guys, just make actual points so that I can actually say something about them instead of not making any points. So I just have to go like, oh my gosh.
Okay, so Pastor Rich, you're saying
you don't like Rome
ethnicity
colonialism. I don't like anyone's colonialism.
In that way, and then race, you're more talking about.
I don't think that we need to invade and then usurp cultures and then try and make them think like us and anything like that. I'm not a big fan of any of that kind of stuff. Not a big imperialist, not a big expansionist. I much prefer that countries incorporate and absorb and exist and osmose together because their cultures align and because their goals align and things like that. I would much prefer that. Doesn't seem to be the world we live in, but I would like for that to be.
What do you mean when you say race? I'll tell you what I generally mean is like civilizational people groups. That's basically how we understand it.
What's
That's
my
how it's,
point? I don't
how
have
it
to have
comes
a
up on
point.
our,
I could literally
our
just
government
stream
documents and that sort of
nothing.
thing. Essentially,
and
white, European,
I don't have to have a
Black,
point.
African, Asian. We've got these civilizational people groups with common
what you see is not what you see. Again,
ancestry.
Trenton.
But then there's underneath that there are.
I'm trying to concentrate on these Nazis, okay? And you're just making me laugh at you internally. All you're doing is you're saying some weird fucking platitude shit that would normally exist on a thrift store shelf for about $3 on a piece of wood. So maybe try to make a cogent point, and I can actually address it. But until then, I'm trying to listen to these Nazis, not laugh at the things that you're saying, all right? So just give me a little bit of that respect there. Give me some of that leeway. Let me laugh at these guys so I can stop laughing at you for a moment, okay? We didn't agree with nothing. Don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Particular ethnicities
I don't know.
Under that umbrella. That's kind of how I've thought about it. Is that
I don't know.
similar to how you?
I don't know what your
think
point
about it, or
is.
are
You haven't made a
using
point.
using the term
You just
different
said that
ways?
Well, again,
take stuff from
think of
Roman
race
culture.
as fundamentally a biological category. So you've got
I don't know.
groups of
I don't know
people
what
that
I don't know
share
what you're trying to say. I
package
don't know what your
of
point is.
Biological characteristics, the most obvious of which would be skin color. So when people talk about white identity politics,
Right.
black
Right.
identity politics.
So much for human rights and autonomy, especially bodily autonomy. Again, I didn't say any of that shit. I don't know why you're attaching that to me. You need to just address me. This is, hey, guy, hey, it's me, Goose. Hey, it's me, Goose. Look, hey, it's me, Goose. It's me, Goose. Hey, I'm different. I'm not like every person you've ever talked to, okay? So maybe give me a little bit of that grace, right? The causal chain is obvious on who pushed for peony cutting on minors. Oh my gosh, it's really not. But the Nazis are the bad guys. Yes, because they eradicated the Jew, or they tried to eradicate the Jews. Not siding with people who hurt kids. Siding with people who hurt kids? Who hurts the kids that you're talking about? They're Americans like you. You're a Nazi. Am I a Nazi? I'm actually not. I'm actually pretty anti-Nazi, which is exactly why we're actually having this live stream. So welcome. Thank you for finally being here and paying attention to the actual stuff going on the screen. Do you believe there is a God? I don't really have a belief either way. I don't have a belief that there is a God. I don't have a belief that there is not a God. You're American, though. Okay? You can't just associate one person with all of something. That's not how any of that works. The Jews who forced cutting on children who weren't their own, that's how you think is the good guys. I think that the Jews were a victim of a horrible atrocity. But I don't think that any one group of people is all good or all bad, except for the Nazis. Nazis were all bad. Fun fact, Somalis are known for female genital mutilation. Most Somali women experience female genetic... And what does that have to do with Americans? I don't know. Nazis are bad. I don't know why anyone would ever take offense to that. If you take offense to it, you're probably a Nazi.
For example, it seems like they're identifying people by their skin color, by a particular genetic and biological trait. So that's really what I'm getting at.
So why would your American buddy be a Nazi? Who's my American buddy? You think that all Americans are just friends with each other? You know that that's 370,000 or 370 million people, right? You can't just say one person is all of people. That's really stupid. That means that you just don't know how to think. Then maybe the Jews shouldn't be pushing for harming kids. The Jews as an entire people are pushing for harming kids and hiding behind their religion when they changed in the 2nd century to begin with. Who gives a shit about circumcision? It doesn't, I mean, yeah, it sucks, and it's a practice that probably shouldn't be pushed on anyone. But if it's their religion, it's their religion, and you have to respect that. So I don't know. Okay, I understand now. So who invented the name tree? Wow, dude. Humans. Human beings invented the word tree. You're a savage. In what way? You haven't made a point. Again, Gargoyle, you haven't made a point. Yes, they are, because much like Christians, they mistake circumcision as something good. Again, the Jews, Chinese people, Christians, you cannot say because of some isolated shit that all of one people are something or all of another people are something. You really cannot say that. And if you do, you're just going to sound really stupid. Well, then, see, you understand. If you understand, it shouldn't be pushed. Now look at the literature from the last century and look at the last names of prominent authors. Oh, man, you're just sounding racist here, man. And no, I don't have to respect it. Yes, you do, because they changed circumcision in the 2nd century. If you want people to respect your views, you need to respect theirs. In the 2nd century AD for other reasons. I don't need your justification, man. You're just making excuses to hate Jewish people. That's all you're doing. You're making excuses to hate some old Jewish lady down the street who has never had anything to do with genital mutilation at all in her entire life, who's just living her life, just fucking chilling, and maybe is a teacher, and maybe he's like a daycare teacher, something like that. Like, you're saying that she's evil because the religion is bad, instead of just saying that the religion is bad. I don't understand why you think that's ever an okay type thing, but it's not. I will never respect people who hurt kids if that's your prerogative that you try to weasel out of. Why would you ever try to claim that any one group of people, because of bad actors or because of religious zealots, are all evil? That is the evil thing, to associate all people with one thing. That's really bad. That's actually you stereotyping, and it's pretty racist. I assume. I don't know. You could be Middle Eastern. I don't know. But, it could be racist. It could be simply just, you being anti-Semitic. I don't know. But you are a self-proclaimed anti-Semite. I think that we've established that from the moment you came into the chat, you were, talking about Hitler. So you're the one conflating Jew with an ethnicity. Well, I mean, when the Nazis carried out the genocide, they were talking endlessly about ethnic purity. So that's mostly what it was about. When we're talking about Christians to begin with anyway, There's different ethnicities of Jew. I did not specify. True. There are different ethnicities, yeah. But it was an ethnicity thing when there was the racial cleansing in World War II. So,
now obviously,
and clearly you're
when
just
we talk
trying
about,
to
for example, black
be a Hitler
culture, we
fanboy.
mean more than just skin color. Or if we talk about white identity politics, but this is one of my questions. I assume we're talking about more than skin color, but the question would be what fills in that content? What is white identity politics? I think that's part of the issue is that when
What
we
is
talk
it?
about it, we need to do white
What is white identity
I'm really
politics?
not sure.
Everything's racist. No, just the few things you've said that are racist. That's the height of your academic understandings that racism equals everything, just like Jesus equals everything. Well, no, Jesus doesn't equal everything. Never said that. Oh, now it could be racist. You sound ridiculous. If I'm white, it's racist, but if I'm Middle Eastern, it's not. If it's based on race, that's very simple. If it's based on race, then you're racist. If it's just based on you not liking Jews, then it could be either an ethnicity thing or it could be a religion thing. I don't know your brain. I don't know which you are intending to defame or decry. You would actually have to make that point, and then I would then say, oh, well, you're racist. Oh, you're anti-Semite or something like that, you know? I have to know more about you. Okay, so what race is Jew? Well, it is the ethno-Judaic group. There's at least 3 different... dude, a lot of different ethnicities can be a Jew. You think there's not ethnic Christians? Yes, I do. When did I say I didn't? You just keep assuming things, man. You haven't actually tried to understand anything I've been saying. You just assume things about me, which is really sad for you because we've agreed on a lot of stuff so far, and now you're just ignoring all of that to assume things about me. When, if you actually tried to learn what my views are, you might, I don't know, agree with some stuff that I say. But instead of asking me, you're just accusing. So, I can't make up your mind for you. I can only tell you what my views are. So I don't know what you're looking for. And if you wanted a debate, you really should have just called in to my Discord, and then we could have actually had an in-voice back and forth as opposed to just talking over text. Bad for context, you know? Just saying. Well, for you to sit there and say that I said I don't know if you're being racist. And making blatant statements, what I'm talking about, the religious structure, not specifying is just disingenuous. I actually, no, you're projecting. You've been jumping to conclusions, not me. And you're the one assuming, no, you are. Which Jew was I racist to? You don't even know the names. I don't know if you're being racist or if you're just simply being an anti-Semite. I said those words. I said those words to you. See what I'm saying? Like, you tend to ignore the things that I'm saying and then just say whatever you want. So you're not having a conversation anymore. You're just kind of screaming out into the void. I would love to have an open discussion, but I can't do that if you're not actually listening to me. So I'm just going to continue on with the video. If you're just going to continue to not listen to me, then I'll stop responding.
What they're talking about.
It's like the audio version of the lack of reading comprehension, just lack of comprehension. I mean, like, I'm trying to communicate, and, you know, I'm willing to understand that I might be doing a bad job of communication, but, you know,
so
he's just not understanding, or he's not wanting to understand. He's just wanting to communicate whatever anger it is that he has for the Jews.
I'm not sure that I really do. I mean, you could say.
Oh, so now there's a difference between racism and anti-Semitism. I mean, they're both equally bad, but Jews aren't necessarily. The persecution of a religious group isn't necessarily a ethnic one or a religious one, but it could also be both.
That would be my question. So
yes, 2 things can be true at the same time.
That's how I'm looking at this.
That's weird that you don't know that.
Approaching this. So my
Trenton Gary with what shade are you? Why does that even matter?
point is that, you know, there are people who share my skin color, don't share my politics. There are people who don't share my skin color and do share my politics. I wonder what white identity politics is actually going to accomplish in that kind of context.
You just contradicted yourself. Okay, show me where.
And that's why I made the point in the post that a lot of the anti-whiteness. So, you know, Jacob Savage came out with his article on this, and it was a well-written article, got a lot of attention on how
2 things can be true, yes. So Jesus can be God, but also not God. I am not religious. I don't believe in God. Why are you trying to talk to me like I'm a Christian, dude? I am not religious. I have no concept of God.
had been discriminated against.
It's the topic. The topic of what? Of what I'm watching? You think that when people make video reactions, they're trying to also tell people what shade of skin they are? Why is that important? We're watching this to look at American Nazis.
Because he was a white man. Jeremy Curl did his book, The Unprotected Class, which obviously documents anti-white discrimination in all these different areas of life. These are whites who are being discriminated against for job positions, promotions, acceptance to colleges. And
God is a misnomer. It's a placeholder for the unknown. I would have thought you understood that without me getting into semantics with you. So you're saying that me being an atheist means that I'm religious and that I explain God as nothing? That's pretty fucking weird. Again, that's not an understanding of what atheism is. It's just here's space and here's where God would go. For most people, I don't have that. Religion, where this space is, you take that and you go whoop, and there's nothing there. That's where it is. That's all. So they're all that shade. What are you talking about, man? Do you want to actually make the point instead of just saying some broken sentences? Because I don't know what you're trying to say.
Graduate programs because of their skin color.
I'd like to understand you, but you got to let me.
That's wrong. But the question is, what do we do about it? What is the solution to that? And
what is the final solution to that?
Politics. And I've asked the question several times.
What is the final
what
solution?
Does that mean? Are we talking about affirmative action for white people?
Anti-Semitism is the same thing, but specifically directed at the Jewish people. It's historically distinct because they have been targeted not only as an ethnic group, but also as a religious one. Correct. That's what happened in World War II. Unless you're albino, you got to start using the right forms of the word "your." Because my albino what? Unless my albino what? My not white what? I don't understand that. Because I read words and understand their meaning, and you didn't use the right form there. I have to extrapolate the meaning there. I'm saying if two things can be true, then God can be real and not real. No. Jesus could have been real and not real. No. Jesus can be God and not God. No. I'm just going off what you said. You said, right, a tree can be both green and brown. The sky can be both blue and white and intangible and non-perceivable once you reach a certain height. The planet can be both round and dense. Two things can be true at the same time. You have to be really stupid to think that that's not true. Just because what you're saying is about religion, which are not things that I believe. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Jesus. I don't believe that Jesus can be God because I don't believe in either God or Jesus. Those are both true. Right? Yeah, blanket statements, but I'm not generalizing entire groups of people like you are. Different parts of the tree, different parts of the sky. So, a tree is both alive and vegetative. A tree is both fragrant and fresh. Trees can be two things at the same time. Anything can be two things at the same time. You got to be real stupid if you don't believe that. That's not the point you were making. You were saying that it can be anti-Semitic, but also not anti-Semitic. Right. It could be religious, or it can be against their ethnicity. I just read it to you. Cynical said it. He posted it in the Twitch chat. Anti-Semitism is the same thing, but specifically directed at the Jewish people. It historically distinct because they have been targeted not only as an ethnic group, but also a religious one. Hey. So we can't criticize Judaism at all because it might be conceived as anti-Semitic, shutting all conversation down about it, even if the person isn't talking about race. Well, then you're being anti-Semitic. You can be anti-Semitic racially. You can be anti-Semitic religiously. You are still being anti-Semitic. You should not try to lump all people. I'm not changing any meaning. You just, again, as I said before, you see how you keep being really consistent in ignoring the things that I'm saying? You're only trying to extrapolate whatever it is that you want to make whatever point that it is. You're not actually listening to me. You could try, but you haven't. You've been here since the stream began, and at no point have you tried to understand anything I'm saying. You just agree with me on the things you agree with, and then you're trying to imply that I said things on other things that you're saying. Well, maybe they shouldn't hurt kids then. You have no proof that anybody's hurting anybody en masse. And once you do, I'll absolutely agree with what you're saying. And I agree that any genital mutilation is wrong. But again, that's not what's happening, especially not with trans people. So that's exactly what you're doing, and you sound like a child bringing it up. So when you're projecting, what an ironic thing for me to be reading right now. You've been projecting this entire time, man. You've been projecting your entire belief system onto me. You lump me in with every other single atheist liberal that you've talked to. You are absolutely trying to paint me with the same brush you paint every single other person with. And you think that I'm projecting? That is both cute and hilarious. I have proof they're hurting kids. It's called oral suction. Okay? So you have one case. I just want to know why you're so set and sensitive about defending people who hurt children and call it religion. I never said that I stand with the Jews. I never said that I stand with Israel. I never said anything like that. I never said anything pro-Jew. You came into my stream and started talking about anti-Jew stuff. Nothing I was saying or doing was pro-Israel or pro-Jew or pro-religion. Nothing. So you came in here projecting. Yes, you have been projecting this entire fucking time. I was simply commenting, you're the one who wants to insert your definitions into mine as if you have a crush on me. And now you're projecting some kind of homosexual fantasy onto me? You seriously don't see what you're doing? Generalizations and blanket statements. Yes, you've been making a lot of those. Yes, you say all groups of people, or you say all members of a group of person is one thing or another. Yes, you have been saying that. I'm a right-handed painter, by the way, sir. Well, if you want to be Hitler, then you're going to have to change your
quotas,
your handedness.
Acceptances to business, or
hate to tell you, hate to break it to you.
Hiring quotas for businesses. You have to hire X number of white people. What exactly are we talking about when we get at that? And this is part of my point too. I actually think we can accomplish the things that we need to accomplish without going that route. And I think it actually will be more effective that way. So, for example, I am not a fan of white identity politics. I have no problem with something like MAGA, Make America Great Again, because we're talking about
keep pulling out the plug for my phone. I hope it's actually like charged. Yeah, it's charged.
American history,
it's
American
charging.
Heritage, our founding documents. The kind of things that have made America.
Romans were not. Judaism inherently tied with Christian issue. In case you want to just turn a blind eye to one of the three Abrahamic faiths. Never turned a blind eye to anything. I have equal disdain for all religions that are used as cudgels. That is something that I have said often and with great fervor. Romans were not immune to being savage, but less savage. I'm sorry, have you never seen the movie Caligula? Or anything that Roman Polanski's ever done? Because there are Romans out there. That's a play on words, but he's still Roman. He's a Roman.
I think there were flaws, but
I thought that was funny. That's just a little Roman Polanski humor for you.
And I think that whites who consider themselves heritage
it's not that funny. I realize that now.
And who appreciate that heritage, we get on board with that. And I think you'd also have quite a few non-whites.
I thought it was funny. It was funny to me
because there are people who who are not white who do love America and love her heritage and who could get on board with that. And I think that's one thing that I actually appreciated about Trump is that he won multiple times, really without doing racial identity politics.
Really? Because, I mean, most of the alt-right was pretty all about that pro-white life. So maybe not Trump himself, but definitely his supporters.
He made it about America and about American greatness, about the nation.
Who's Jeffrey? Is that the kid that was taken into custody?
Trump is a mixed bag. He does a lot of prudent things. He does a lot of foolish things.
Hi, Sally, by the way.
Prudent in how he approached it.
Sally Forth.
So that's the kind of thing I'm getting at. I see people talking about this. I see podcasts on this. I see X posts on this.
Well, anyway, this is an hour and a half, so I knew we weren't going to get through it, but I just wanted to, and I know that I got distracted a lot, but I do want to just point out this guy who was just on this podcast. Now tell me, this is where we get into conspiracy land. Does this guy actually believe the things that he's saying, or is he doing this for the paycheck? I've almost never found any evidence that someone was like just having a stance just because they knew they were going to get paid for it. But wow, this guy really kind of gives off those vibes. So let me know. It's a very short video. It's only 7 minutes, 34 seconds, but we're almost at the end of the stream. I want to make sure that I get this done before we end today.
Hello, everyone.
Zoroastrianism isn't technically Abrahamic, but it is. Well, it was actually the inspiration from the world's first dualities. Good and evil. One of the first concepts of good and evil. Pretty fucking cool. But it is kind of required to be a part of the conversation if you are really getting the Abrahamic religion, most because of influence on the other theology. Yeah, so Judaism was around at the time. Trenton, if you think I'm getting paid for this, then oh man, that would be so cool. No, I'm not getting paid for any of this. This is actually something that I'm doing on my free time. Yes, I am choosing to do this, but I would love to get paid for it. That would be great. I'd be super into that. I believe Jeffrey was out there chilling. Jeffrey was a chill guy. I mean, if you like pedophiles, sure. And a lot of you Hitler crowd tends to, so. You look like you're from Boston. Is that an insult to people in Boston, or is that an insult to me? Switch to streaming Helldivers 2 instead. I did for a bit when it first came out, but unfortunately I'm a variety streamer because I have ADHD and I get real tired of games real quick. Enshrouded has been one that I've been able to keep my attention on for a bit, so I'm going to do some of that tomorrow. And then, what was the other one? Oh, I don't know if you've played it. Now, since you're Nazi adjacent, I imagine that you probably really like the Empire from Star Wars. Did you ever want to play as an Empire operative? Did you ever want to play as, like, a Sith Lord or some shit? Well, now you can in the fucking total conversion for Starfield. It's real fucking cool. Real fucking cool. If you like Pete Toes, you say, I wonder which religion or groups of religion touch minors and amputate things off of them if YouTube would stop censoring me. If you like Pete Toes, pedos. I mean, pedophiles tend to be a larger concentration of people who are within societal roles that have authority over people. So you're talking people like gym teachers, math educators. You're talking leadership, people who do like lawmakers. You're talking about politicians. You're talking about policemen, fire people, business leaders. Usually people in positions of authority are the ones who tend to be in the best positions to take advantage of underage people. So it's bad, you know, and I wish there weren't so many pedophiles in our government, but there are, and that's really unfortunate, and I hope they all get rooted out, and I hope they all get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now let's hear this guy. Tell me, do you think that this is satire, or do you think I don't think it's like a grift? I think he's doing this as part of his brand, but just tell me what your opinion is, okay? Especially people here who don't agree with what my stances are. I just want to know, do you think that this seems kind of scammy? But just let me know.
Hello,
it's only 7 minutes long.
My name is Kongmin Lee, and I was just fired from my job for my conservative beliefs. This wasn't about my job performance or my relationships with colleagues. It happened because of the things I've said online and the political and religious views I've shared. Right before I was about to head out to work, I got a call from an
Right, see, you're not listening to me again. It's Not So Private Playlist. I said that people in positions of authority are more likely to end up, being in a position to take advantage of children. I think it's really important that you listen to the words that I'm saying. People in positions of authority. So, yeah, Donald Trump. Jeffrey Epstein, obviously. Literally anyone who is in a position of authority who can potentially be corrupted has the potential to be corrupted. And it is very like, I mean, with the 400 or 500 politicians that we arrested simply on the right side for predation on minors. I'm listening to you willingly omitted rabbis. I don't specifically speak about any one group. I tend to lump pedophiles together. So if you accuse me of generalizing, yes, I do consider pedophiles to all be of the same breed. And just because I don't mention a group, see, this is a very common argument against people from the least educated who just like to scream into the void. Just because I didn't specifically mention someone doesn't mean they're not included in the equation. So I'm sorry again that you need basic concepts explained to you, but there you go.
Executive at my workplace, and he opened with this.
The reason for this call is that we've decided to terminate your contract effective.
I didn't name literally everyone.
Beginning.
I named literally everyone. Did I name doctors? Pretty sure I didn't. Did I name psychologists? Pretty sure I didn't. Did I name lawyers? Pretty sure I didn't. Did I name governors? Pretty sure I didn't. Did I name mayors? Pretty sure I didn't. Did I name janitors? Pretty sure I didn't. Even though a lot of janitors have been arrested for that kind of shit. So yeah, no, I didn't just name I didn't name literally everyone. That would be factually incorrect.
Today and going forward, you're going to cease all contact with employees, and you are not welcome on our campus.
I think I have a
They
little bit
told
of the
me I
green
was
screen
being
on that
removed
side too.
immediately and not to return. The main reason? Because my posts were dehumanizing and derogatory.
So it's clear to us that your commentary invokes language.
Okay, so here we go with ad hominem insulting me when we think there was an obvious context and you provided. Well, no, you think that you're in a debate, and we're not. We're not debating. This is my live stream. You can either choose to listen to the words that I'm saying, or you can't, or you can choose not to. That's well within your freedom. And I can either choose to agree with you on the things that you say, and I can choose not to. You're a Destiny clone. Are you saying that because we have some of the same views? I don't debate. I'm not I mean, I guess I would if I had, people to debate with. Yeah, but you're ignoring context. No, I'm not. Which is why it's disingenuous. No, it's not. And nothing but disagreeableness and combative. No, it's not. You and I have agreed on several things today. You're choosing to say that I am ignoring things. You're choosing to say that, even though I've been pretty cordial. I've been pretty understanding of you. I've been pretty patient with you. Like, I'm giving you way more grace than a lot of religious people do, I assume. So janitors are apparently amputating parts of minors' bodies. No, but they are definitely groping children. Is that what we were talking about? We're talking about a small group of people in a position of authority who take the chance to predate onto people. And that's a sad thing. And I think that we should all be unhappy about that. I don't know. Just make your own stream, not difficult. It isn't difficult. If I can do it, you can do it. It sounds like we're debating because you've been the most active in my chat today. By telling me that we're not debating, you're just kind of defeating yourself. No, I can say that we're not debating because that's not what's happening right now.
It's derogatory and dehumanizing.
If this were a debate,
The specific example they kept
we
bringing
would
up
be
is when
on
I
voice
called women
chat
who
and we would be
celebrated
talking
the
back and
murder of
forth and
Charlie Kirk
communicating points and
hags
stuff. So
psychopaths.
yeah.
And apparently, that's unacceptable. What else are they? Calling them psychopaths is mild compared to the depraved gloating over the death of an innocent man. But they didn't care about the context.
So what's
Do you see what's happening? Like, what is this? Like, is he a shill? Is this like shield stuff? Because he's bad at like the acting part, but that could just be because he's not acting. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just saying that you're a Destiny clone because you're going off on the runway narratives that utilize ad hominem specific. You really don't know what ad hominems are, man. You should look it up. Ad hominem is when I attack you instead of the argument that you're making. And instead of doing that, what I did was I addressed what you were saying, and then I said, if you actually think that, then you're stupid. So ad hominems are not just insulting people. Ad hominems are when you take the thing that they are saying and you don't listen to the argument, you don't handle the argument, you don't address the argument, you just insult the person. That's what an ad hominem is. That's what you've done to me a few times already. So scroll up. I would encourage you to scroll up and just see that you've actually tried to insult me a few times without actually addressing what I've said. Those are ad hominems. You're choosing to ignore non-consensual amputation. I'm not choosing to ignore anything. There's no picking and choosing. Yes, I can pick and choose which issues that I address. If you want to go out, to the right, you have to go after the left to all sides. I do equally. Complaining. Now you've been sprinkling insults in there.
Well, how about
No, again, insulting you is not what constitutes an ad hominem. Insulting you without covering your argument is what makes an ad hominem.
yesterday when you implied that women shouldn't have the right to vote and that women are hags, miserable people, birthers, and psychopaths?
I didn't call women that.
Yes, you did. It's very clear. We have evidence of it.
Yeah,
People on the left side of the aisle do not defend slavery.
you can pull it up. I said that liberal women who dehumanize
No, you didn't
people
say
and
liberal
celebrate
women.
that.
You did not say liberal women. You did not say liberal women.
The context is.
There's no context. Your language.
Do you
is
mind if I can?
I'm going to finish. Your language is dehumanizing. You target every kind of identity that's represented. I'm embarrassed that we're just realizing it.
So the context behind that is the thousands upon thousands of videos and tweets and posts of people who were celebrating the assassination of a husband and a father 2 weeks ago.
So do you see, like, he's doing the typical thing where he's saying the canned things to the person on the phone. I don't know if Trenton Carey, if you are really choosing to ignore that the Dixiecrats existed, then you're ignoring a pretty big part of history. So I would read up on the Dixiecrats and why the parties flipped sides if I were you, because that's a very common argument and it's just not true. You are, though. You just want to call everything. No, I'm calling you anti-Semitic. And you want to give Jews a free pass. I didn't give anybody a free pass, but not Christians. I didn't give anybody a free pass. There is no, I am not a, right, no, again, Trenton Carey, you need to read up on the Dixiecrats. I'm not giving anybody a free pass. I'm not supporting anything over any other thing. I'm just doing what I think is the thing that I want to cover on my stream. If the Earth came into existence by accident, who raised the first baby? Holy fuck! Where are all the half-evolved animals? Man. Warren Edwards. Oh, man, you caught me at the end of my stream, but you say a really interesting thing. I always thought the left ended with the Soviets. What remains are just tropes. China isn't communist. Neither is a DPARC or Vietnam. I don't know enough about that, Grondo. You definitely are. You're white knighting for other people. It's so obvious. I don't even know why you're getting upset. Upset about what? What am I getting upset about? Have you seen me get upset at all this entire stream? The answer is no, because I don't get upset. Like, I don't. It's almost an incapability of mine. Except for when I'm playing fucking Enshrouded. Jesus fucking Christ. Last church I went to, one of the leaders screamed justice for Kirk. Some could argue that he got justice. I wouldn't personally be saying that because I feel like all life has value, but I don't know. I don't know.
So the context is
So his
the sheer
excuse
number. It was like 80 to 20
for
90%.
talking
The majority of people
about all
celebrating
women
his
as though they don't have the
assassination
right, they shouldn't have the right to
murdered in
vote,
cold
and that
blood
they're all
were
psychopaths and
women. Now
hags.
these are women who are untethered to their family. They don't have good family life. Right?
I know, you tried to say this earlier, man. Now you're just rehashing the same shit you said before. I'm replying to people who chat in my live chat. That's the point of a live stream, is to engage with your audience, people who are watching you. That's the point. If I was upset, I would be way more silent. I think I might have a recording of me being fairly upset at some guy that was in my chat like 10 years ago. And I just clammed up. I was just like, no, sir. But, you know, that's just, I'm polite. Like, I respect other people, and so I reply to people, even if they are choosing not to hear me, even if they're not trying to understand the concepts I'm saying, even if they're talking shit to me and then saying that I'm the one that's projecting, which is gaslighting. Even if they're doing all of that stuff, I still give them the respect of responding to them because I believe that this is a community and that I should be doing what I can to grow it. So that's the reason I keep talking to you, is because you're in here and you're talking to me, and I am trying to be polite, and I, respond. Just saying. I used to be just like you. I used to try and dismantle the Bible and God. I don't have to dismantle it. I just point out that God endorsed slavery, and that's really all I got to do. Blood magic, or hemomancy, is an ancient, potent, and often taboo practice involving life force blood for rituals and curses. Why am I 28 and a loser no matter what I do? Also, how do I know my mental health is past the point of self-help? I have 6 years old daughter, and I want better. Why are you coming to me and not a psychologist? Being a loser is really your own perception. You are as valuable as you perceive yourself to be. So if you are a person who is worthy of being the CEO of a big Fortune 500 company, then you need to perceive yourself that way, and then you will, you drive yourself to learn the skills that you need in order to understand the concepts that you do in order to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and then you just need to go out and do it. If you are to the point where you can no longer dissociate, where you can no longer separate reality from what you think is going on, and people are telling you that you need to get mental health help, then that's how you know it's past self-help. If you are maintenancing and you have stopped your medication, then that is a point where you need to go back to a therapist and reassess and try to get some other kind of medication or tool from them that they can use to help you process a lot of the shit that you're dealing with. In terms of just kind of coming into a stranger's live stream and asking that, either you're in a moment of crisis, in which I would have to say that you need to stop watching right now and get a hold of a qualified specialist who can give you the resources that you need, or you're here because you are trying to question what is going on with your life simply because you just happen to have come in here and that's just, there's just a friendly face who you want to ask the question of. I can't hold a job long enough to get insurance. I don't know what to do anymore. I've lost everything. I have no friends or family. I don't know what to do. I mean, if you find that you are unable to hold a job, it is very much not entirely your fault. I actually have really good advice for this. So I'll keep the stream going for just a little bit longer so I can answer this. Gabriel, the entire wealth of reality is yours to determine what you need to do and yours to determine how you can manifest success for yourself. If you find that your job performance is inconsistent enough that you keep getting fired before, 90 days for most people, then it really is a sense of perception. And especially if you're struggling with your mental health, chances are there are a lot of stressors that are going on in your life that make work itself complicated. And there's no reason to believe that any one portion of your performance is the culprit. It can also be people who don't necessarily train well. It can be people who aren't very well at training other people. It could be that the places that you're going are thematically more likely to be places that you leave prematurely. Like, let's say you end up only getting jobs at grocery stores, or you only end up getting jobs at restaurants or something like that. Then it could be that you think you have a limited skill set, but you haven't branched out into something else. And a lot of the times, firings that are due to what people call poor performance is usually a training issue. It's usually people who don't understand well how to communicate the concepts that they're trying to teach and being thrust themselves into a position of having to teach it. So that can lead to apathy, that can lead to resentment towards the job itself. So maybe like they can be upset and they don't like where they're at and having to teach people. But rest assured that it really takes keeping things maintained, keeping your mental health in check. And a good way to do that on the surface before you actually get help is to go through the HALT index. And you need to ask yourself, every time you're about to make a decision that you know might get you into trouble, one of the things you need to ask yourself is, am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Or am I tired? That's the way that you get to positions of vulnerability, and when you start doing all that negative self-talk and shit like that. SSRIs don't necessarily cause ED. They can, but they are more likely to cause a drop in your overall sex drive in general. For me, Lexapro, you definitely... I don't have a very high sex drive in general. I mean, that may be too much information for people on my live stream who are strangers, but I'm actually just... I usually say just too much about myself anyway, so whatever. It just eliminates your sex drive. It takes it away, and and you don't really feel like it anymore. That's pretty much it. I've had over 30 jobs. I don't think it has to do with training. My anxiety stops me from leaving the house or being consistent. Oh, Gabriel, you're going through a little bit of what I was going through over the last 10 years. A lot of that can be due to neurodivergence. It can be that you might be on the spectrum to some extent, albeit like high functioning. It could be that you've been dealing with ADHD for, the majority of your life, undiagnosed or untreated. And it could just be due to low prioritized mental health maintenance, honestly. Yeah, it really is a method of calming yourself down and putting what's really important into the forefront of your mind and trying to process that shit. If it leads you to religion, then so be it. But I would encourage you to not use religion as a crutch, and I would encourage you to never use religion as a cudgel. But if it can be used as a tool that helps you lead a better life, then more power to you. There you go. I hope things work out for you, Gabriel. I hope that's your last name too. Siconte. This is the issue. We got guys like this guy trying to create his own truth. Create his own truth? What does that mean? It only drives people more and more into the dark. The starting point is, who am I? What is my purpose? Well, no, the starting point is just living life and just trying to function and flourish within whatever the environment is that you've been dealt. Savage behavior to not use protection when you are not nobilized. Oh, boy. All right, well... hopefully we get less Nazis in the chat next time. But yeah, so I don't know. Well, I guess maybe we'll
destroy your life, and in extreme cases.
Yeah,
like
no,
we saw
I
in
have to end the stream, but man, I really wish I could. What do you guys think? Like, do you think that he's like a shill? We've watched such precious little bit of this.
grounds for dismissal. I don't think being conservative or having strong religious...
But it wasn't his views that he got fired for. It was what he said. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Man. Well, I mean, private playlist, hopefully you try to be something other than anti-Semitic. Because you seem smart enough. It would be great to actually have a conversation with you sometime. Because that's not what we had this time. It was just a lot of nothing, and I was really trying. So, thank you guys for sticking around. I appreciate it. Even if you don't agree with the things that I said, I appreciate you being here. And I think that even if it's a case like that where you don't agree with me on what my politics or what my religion is, I hope that you at least found some entertaining part into interacting with your fellow chatters or whatever. Anything that keeps you coming back, I'd be happy to host it. You support hurting kids? I don't. Why don't you just say it? You don't want to be anti-Semitic. After all, they're allowed to, right? I didn't say anyone's allowed to do anything. Again, I really wish that you would have listened to anything I said. It's a shame that you didn't, because now you're just gonna go on believe in the stuff that you want, but you don't have a religion, right? I don't have a religion. What's your opinion on the Epstein files? I hope that everyone that is named credibly in the Epstein files gets prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, whether they be on the left or the right side. Doesn't matter to me. I just don't like pedophiles. Or Nazis. For this guy's... I like the face he's making, though. Would you say those Nazi lips are kissable? I wouldn't because he's a Nazi, but I don't know. Private, would you kiss this man? What are your beliefs? What do you mean? What are my beliefs? Religiously or politically? Politically, I tend to fall on the side of the spectrum that is just before lobbing the Molotovs through Parliament walls. And in terms of religion, I don't really have any religious beliefs. I would love to delve in more into you examining me, but the stream has been over for 21 minutes, so I'm really just addressing the final chats here. Faith. Oh, my faith? I don't have a faith. I don't have any religious beliefs. I'm not a religious person. Didn't you accuse me of something earlier that was similar to this? You're projecting your proclivities onto this man. I mean, I'm open. I'm not strictly straight or bi or anything like that. I don't know why you think that that's like a gotcha. I accused you of projecting me because you immediately said something about being gay. Like just out of nowhere. No one had said anything about it. And then you just went right in. I never said what my sexual preference was. Gargoyle, Hitler was atheist. No, he wasn't. He actually instituted a Christian church as a mandatory religion for Germany during his reign. Again, that's pretty well established fact. You would have to deny a lot of history. Are you gay? No, I'm not. You're not straight or bi. No, I'm neither. I choose not to limit myself. Historically, I've been straight. I am married to a woman, but if in the future I ended up not being married, then I would hope that I'd be open to being attracted to anyone of any whatever. Actually, I'm referring to something way further back, but you probably don't remember, so it's okay. Private, doesn't it show you something that you remember all the insults you tried to throw my way, but you don't remember any of the points I tried to make? I really want to try and be able to fold people into the community and give them like, some kind of nuggets of something. And if you're not susceptible to that, or if you're not open to that, then I have to wonder what you're doing here, man. Psychic brainwashed, jello head, dickless trumper. You're married to a woman. What's a woman? Woman is a female, female of a human of species. But, definitions are permeable. We get to be, whatever we want. But my wife was born a woman. Has always been one. He wishes to be water, formless and take the shape of anything you put him in. I mean, I prefer to be open to the possibility that I can incorporate somebody else into my life regardless of what their background is, if I was to be in a position to do that. Like, let's say if my wife died, God forbid, oh man, knock on wood, if my wife died or if I got divorced, I'd want to be able to be open to the possibility of falling in love with someone else that wasn't limited by their gender or sexual expression. It wasn't an insult. You just haven't made any points. I haven't made any points at all. Then you really haven't been listening to me. You literally wasted the whole hour getting trolled by me instead of doing your presentation. You played like 4 minutes of the actual videos. Right, because I much prefer to interact with my chat, as I've said now 3 times to you. I don't mean to be rude, but it's difficult to respect any man without clear morality that you can plainly state. I do have a morality. I don't believe it's great to be murdering people. I don't believe that it's good to, bomb other countries. I don't believe that I have morality. I can clearly state it. You just have to ask the right questions. Morality doesn't require religion. You people just seem to think it does. It's hard to share my citations because Mustache Man's book name is censored. I mean, if you're a Nazi, then we probably don't share the same ideals. I don't know. Loser. Yeah. I mean, projection is real, man. At least I have the guts to be here. Those are the things you don't believe in, not what you believe in. What do you want? What do you want to know my stance on? I'm an open book here. I'm an open book 25 minutes after the stream is supposed to end. Still trying to answer your questions, you know? Stinky Farter, if you see me crying, then you've somehow tapped into a brand new dimension because you want to protect Jewish people. Again, you keep saying that stuff. Again, you haven't really listened to me. I never said anything about protecting anyone against anything when it comes to what you're talking about. Because you protect non-consensual genital amputation. Do you not listen to yourself? You can prove he was not Christian. Can you prove that he didn't implement Christianity as the national religion? Because he did. You have guts for diarrhea. Are you 3? Yeah, but you're all on about how Nazis... You keep saying the same things, man. You keep going all around and around and around. I don't know. I wish that, you know, you could get past that. Because I'm not protecting anybody. Not willfully omitting anything. You really are trying to debate. And you think that you know how to debate, and you really don't. You should go into the Crucible and debate Andrew. I don't know who Andrew is, and I don't know what the Crucible is. But I'm not a debate person. I'm not a debate bro. So, I don't know. You've suggested many things that show that you're not actually listening. American is a Christian nation, always was and always will. I mean, it wasn't. It was specifically not a Christian nation when the forefathers drafted the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. All you have to do is read it. So, I don't know. He's important and unique. No, I actually am not important or unique. Otherwise, I'd be getting paid. I am one of many different YouTubers who put out both this and game content. And I'm going to continue to do that. So, well, no, see, again, Private, I have been trying to understand you. I have been trying to create a place that you can express your ideas in, and I've been trying to understand the things that you're talking about, but you just keep accusing me of things, of omitting stuff and doing red herrings. Again, this is not a debate. You're just projecting your insecurities onto me, man. Like, I really wish that we could have had some kind of understanding. But you don't seem interested in that. So I hope that you stop in again and that maybe you've taken your meds and then we can actually like have a discussion. But until then, you're just someone that I'm interacting with. And if this was a debate, you'd be losing. You're just using gossip just because he worked with a church. Well, no, actually, he had an entire council of priests. He had an entire body of the government that was specifically meant to organize the state religion as Christianity. It's all right there. You're on the internet. Kerr, you born yesterday. Gargoyles speak English. And you accuse every nationalist of Christian of being a Nazi. I actually didn't. Private. Again, a fundamental misunderstanding of what I was saying. If you had ever asked to clarify, you would have heard me explain to you that I'm not calling every nationalist or Christian a Nazi. So again, the things that you're trying to tell me are not standing up to scrutiny. I'm going to start in a live stream and everyone in chat will be cordial strangers. Oh, I don't expect that. Never said that. I'm happy to have dissenters in here. You guys are still giving me engagement. You give Christians far too much credit. I don't give Christians any credit. Man, again, I don't like religion. Man, you think that I prefer one religion over another. I don't. I think they're all equally used for the same amount of evil. So again, I don't know why you're choosing to think that I'm the target of whatever hatred that you have towards the Jews, but I don't know. I'm not part of that. I've been trying to be welcoming to you, and you really don't seem to want it. You even, threatened to hit on me at some point, I don't know. It's well attested. His book is a more accurate source. Jesus fucking Christ. Every nationalist is a Nazi. I said, I'm happy to have other people say it. That's fine. Religions mean nothing. They are cults. We worship the sun. We do worship the sun in this house. It is the only thing worth worshiping. A politician will have existing churches. He takes over. Wrong. Hitler himself implemented a state religion. He himself put those clergy in those positions, and he himself wrote that shit into his own constitution. It is established in the Third Reich that there is a church, specifically a church for Hitler, and it is Christian, based on the Bible. Using the entire Bible, all up and down that Bible. Sorry, you are trying to erase history. All right, guys. Well, now that I have a moment to breathe, it was very nice having a conversation with you guys because people were Christian. Nobody's born Christian, right, Gargoyle? Do you not know that? It's not very Christian of you to be calling people idiots. All right. Well, have fun. I hope that you guys enjoy. Oh, Gargoyle. I hope you guys enjoy your Nazism because it ain't going to be around for long. We defeated it once and we will defeat it again, and it is folly to think that the people who cry about having the most guns actually have the most guns. I'll leave you with that. Tomorrow we'll be playing, what's it called? We'll be playing Stinky Farter. I'm sorry you hated it. I'm sorry. I'll make sure to cry off stream about it. Tomorrow we'll be playing either Rivals or Enshrouded. If you guys have any input onto what you'd like to see, then I will be a very happy dude. The stream has been over for half an hour. I need to go actually do husband shit. But I'll be playing either Enshrouded or Rivals. And you know what's funny, Stinky Farter? What I find pretty hilarious is that people who say they're going to show up to debate me, even though I'm not a debate bro, they never actually make it here. They never actually show up to debate. So, I mean, if you want to show me a person who's actually willing to have a debate, I'd be happy to do it. But my problem is that I haven't had people who are willing to do it. I show you real receipts, not your BS. Well, no, I think what you're talking about is non-existent. So yeah, have fun. I will see you guys. Ooh, I just want to get it. Get it, son. Get it. Kissable little lips. Oh, you're not a very good troll, Stinky Farter. It has to be more nuanced. Like you gotta make them think that you're serious, and then they'll be able to be like lulled in by that false sense of security. If you want lessons on trolling, I can provide them, but it'll have to be when I'm actually doing the stream. Okay, have a good one. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope that you have a wonderful evening. Hug your loved ones, drink a lot of water, and do some stretching.